Welcome to the desert. Hope you're thirsty.
Hi, Raiders. Hi. We're just getting started. Um, Hi, hello. I I feel like I misled you. I feel like I've waylaid you. I feel like I have. I hope you're thirsty. Yes. That is welcome, Raiders. Um, Thirsty for some chill vibes? High salt water. We're not actually playing Destiny tonight. We're reading the Grimoire, actually. Just getting launched, and I feel like there isn't a good enough category accuracy for like I feel like we should be able to do subcategories. You know what I mean?
Is that for me?
Nova, thank you for the resub. Oh, you got some lore nerds. Well, this is the sixth book, and ever since I can't remember when. Ever since I got the first Grimoire, we started doing community challenges with the channel point goals. And when we hit them, we read aloud the next Grimoire. So, we hit this one a little bit ago and then I forgot about it because we hit it while we were still reading the fifth one. And so tonight is the night. We're getting it done. Thank you, I think Gus or my mods for that shout out. I am far enough away from my keyboard that's work. Shadow, boss, there you go. Damn it. It's okay. Including baby, yes, you can see my kitty's tail just in the background here. Watch the NBA finals. I don't even know who's playing, but hope whatever team you want to win wins. I like a good game. I don't ever favor teams. I like watching good games that are close. Shutouts are really sad to watch. Good night. Thank you for bringing your chat over here. Hi, hello everyone. I'm Adrian. I use she, they, any pronouns really. I am gender fluid. Happy Pride Month for those of you who are Pride members, and also for all the allies who support us. I play Destiny 2 sometimes. More often lately, because I beat Baldur's Gate 3. And then the majority of the other games that I play are like open world RPG games. That's really loud. And Owlboy has nothing to do with Destiny. I thought I had a Destiny playlist on here. We're gonna play this album instead. Okay. So yeah, chill vibes. We like good food and motorcycles here, and cats, and open worlds, and all of the loot. I'm a major loot gremlin when it comes to gaming, so we side quest before all other things. But yeah, so those who are in my Discord know I've been having a little stressy week. Baby girl's had some stressy stuff happening, and been working through some meds and symptoms with her, and she's doing okay. I think she's doing okay, and we're leaning backwards on the meds, so she's doing even better, which is good. So that's fun. But I'm a helicopter mom, so I've been very stressed about the whole situation. We're going to. I don't know if I've actually put the code into my game here, so I'm gonna actually just see. I might already have it though. What is it? Bungie dot. Oh my god. Dot. You know what? That's really far to lean for my keyboard. I'm gonna pull out. I'm gonna pull out. I have a little one that I used to use almost exclusively for work. Battery dead. Battery might be dead. Oh, yeah, battery's dead. Well, I guess I won't be using this then because I don't want to get up and go get a battery. Okay. Net / redeem, right? But if I recall correctly, Adam, thank you for the resub.
Is that for me?
Thank you. If I recall correctly, the first Grimoire book was I'm trying to remember the order of which book was about which thing. You know what I mean? I know that we've had a book about, like the Forsaken, the Scorn, and all of that. We've had a book about the Awoken. We've had a book about the Cabal and about the Hive. The Hive was the first book, I think. The Hive and the Traveler, really. And then we've also had a book about the Dredgen. And this one, I think, is a book about the ghosts. I was reading just like a snippet because I pulled it off the shelf. I was like, did I ever read this? And then I was like, I haven't. And it seems like it's about the ghosts. So we are going to. Sweet. I did not have this emblem already, and now I do. Okay. The last book specifically was about the Cabal, I think. Wasn't there like this like really slutty like love note going on? I feel like someone had a love note they wrote. Was it Callus? Callus and his love note to the Guardians? He was obsessed with us? There's some interesting stuff in there. No, this one is about ghosts. I don't know if there's been a book specifically about Vex, but I'm pretty sure that this one's about the ghosts. I haven't read it yet. We're gonna find out. But I mean, the volume 6 is subtitled "Partners in Light," so I think it's about the ghosts. And the first picture is literally like a guardian and their ghost. Should I turn off the blur? I can turn off the blur so that way when I show pictures, you'll see the artwork a little bit better. Hi, Kaimana. The ghost hunter could be cool. Hi, big girl. Person in the book? Yes. Ghost Hunter would be really cool though. Destiny Universe created by Bungie. To our community, you've become the main characters in the stories we tell. You've filled our worlds with your light and your friendship. Thank you for your passion, for our games, for each other, and most of all, thank you for playing. Sneak there. All right. Oh, I'm also still texting with my vet. Still texting my vet. My vet is really cool. They'll text you, which is a lot faster. gonna put that aside because her tail hair, her plume in the wind. Sorry about that. As you know, dealing with kitty stuff. And I feel like they're just not understanding the situation. They think that she has asthma, which is very maybe possible and probably a possibility. You know, she got x rays done and they're like, there's definitely some inflammation in her lungs. But, like, they keep telling me to, like, these meds for as long as she's coughing. And I was like, she was never coughing. Why do you keep saying that? She was never coughing. So if she's not coughing now, do we stop the meds? Like, what are we doing here? So I'm just a little frustrated because the number of times that I've been like, she was not coughing. And then they're like, yeah, do this until she stops coughing. I'm like, she's not coughing. She was never coughing.
Welcome to the desert.
Crotus, thank you for the follow. So, you know, I'm just a little like frustrated because okay, wait. That's all right. They're like, okay, well, her hard breathing then. They kept saying coughing because that was the normal thing that you would say regarding it, but she was having a difficult time breathing. So in a week, we half the dosage, but she keeps going on it. Okay. Okay. I'm stressed when I feel like people aren't paying attention and are just like going through a sheet, like a script sheet. I'm like, no, but are you looking? Are you actually listening? Because like that's not what we were doing. Okay. Introduction. A ghost is a guardian's other half. We all know that, don't we? The most basic truth of being a guardian, our ghosts are as much a part of us as our own heart. They follow us to the ends of the universe and they pick us up when we might fall. But a ghost is so much more than that. A ghost is a person who in their own right is a person in their own right too. They hope, they risk, they falter. They persevere, hunting for their own meaning. Some find that meaning by independence, some find it in their guardians when they finally meet. Many more find it just as humans do, slowly crafted in the harmony between friends over the span of time. Together, the most fortunate way to realize dreams. Together, the most fortunate way to realize dreams. The ideal relationship between guardian and ghost is one that exists in synchronicity, a partnership, a union held apart from any other, unconditional support, honest commitment, and a perfect mutual understanding. Is this like a Wattpad for the perfect wife? But ideals and reality rarely come to balance. For all the ghosts who find fulfillment in their choices, there are just as many who find dissatisfaction. There are tales of ghosts estranged from their guardians, burdened by regret, of guardians turned ghost killers, of ghosts who leave their partners never more to raise them, and even those who find harmony frequently find it does not come without tribulation. The famed Ikora Ray and her ghost Opicius, Ophiuchus went without speaking for nearly 60 years once. Like any friendship, it requires effort and empathy, and sometimes forgiveness. 60 years? They went 60 years without talking? Without talking. I imagine they were still doing their work and just silently getting rezzed by your silent ghost, you know? There is such depth of heart that resides in our ghosts, especially despite their small size. We see them in the thick of the battle between We see them in the thick of battle beside us, fearlessly exploiting technological vulnerabilities or extracting data. They translate, calculate, explicate. They pick us up and dust off the Mars dirt or hive swamp mud, and it is easy to believe our dear little light's immortal. But they are as delicate as their namesake, too. Sometimes ghosts are lost. We mourn them as we do any life, but the echoes of companionship and love resound long after the last shimmers of the light have faded. Beyond this page are our ghost stories of the long gone and the well remembered, the wild and the staid, the playwrights and the scientists. Treasure them as much as their guardians and think too of your own partner in light, whoever it may be. Keep them close and celebrate their stories and share their stories as well. Eyes up, Guardian. Johanna O'Halloran, 2023. She would be petty, yeah. Partners in light. Okay. Just double checking. Okay, so if I'm doing, we started the 5 milligrams. We did 10 milligrams yesterday, and they said do 5 milligrams for a week. So I'm going to say that ends Monday. And Monday is the last day of a full size pill. Then we do half size pills until the inhalable comes. Okay. Okay. And we're doing them in the morning. So that way she's drowsy during the day when I can keep an eye on her, and I can sleep at night because it's already worn off. Okay. All right. Chapter 1. This one's kind of thick. Not so bad. 163 pages. Let's see if we can get through this in one night. That's part of why I tried so hard to start on time today, so we get, get through the whole thing. But I also haven't been reading aloud in a while, and it's also going to depend on me watching her and not being anxious about her. If she leaves the room, I'm probably going to want to get up and check on her fairly regularly just to keep my eye on her. Like, nothing's happened. The meds haven't made her sick. They have given her a little bit of diarrhea, but I'm trying to counteract that with a little bit of wet food again because that, doesn't have enough fiber for her normally. They closed. All right, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. Chapter 1, Eyes Up. You don't know how long I've been looking for you. I'm a ghost. Actually, now I'm your ghost. And you, well, you've been dead a long time. So you're going to see a lot of things you won't understand. Can you imagine being dead for centuries and waking up now inevitably immortal? Ghosts. In its dying breath, the traveler created the ghosts to seek out those who can wield its light as a weapon. Guardians to protect us and do what the traveler itself can no longer can. The speaker. Built from machinery and the traveler's light, ghosts guide their guardian companions in the quest to reclaim our solar system. Every ghost seeks out its guardian among the ancient dead. The ghost serves as a scout, librarian, and mechanic, walking ancient machinery and cracking waking ancient machinery and cracking alien codes. In the right situations, a ghost can even save a guardian from death. But ghosts are not immortal. As far as guardians know, every loss is irreplaceable. As far as, I like that they put that qualifier there. As far as guardians know. Dead ghosts. Battered and drained of their light, these ghosts are nevertheless valuable for the information they preserve. Their recovered memories may well prove vital to the city's survival. Didn't they have like little like collectible dead ghosts that you could like scan in the tower at one point? The problem of dead ghosts troubles the city's scholars. Are new ghosts still being born, or is the number of ghosts dwindling? Will there come a day when no more remain, an end to the rise of new guardians? If that day is coming, then the city faces a desperate race against time to heal the traveler before attrition takes its toll. You think it was a D1 thing? A bottle so perfectly hidden. Ghosts. Beyond. It is a place casting shadows and emotion. Oh, hold on. I didn't get another text. I'm so sorry. They're closing, so. Okay. Okay. Apparently, because of the type of inhaler it is, I have to get it filled at like a normal human pharmacy. So I'll call my pharmacy tomorrow and be like, hey, how do you need this prescription? Do you need it faxed? Can I email it to you? Or do you need me to get a paper copy directly from them? I don't know. Okay. Beyond. It is a place casting shadows and emotion. It is a real place, I know. One hot blue sun, say, and other suns too, 5. I like 7 better. What I'm recalling is a giant star with a family of 6 smaller suns, and you could spend days and nights counting all of the planets circling those suns, except there are no planets. Not anymore. The powers in charge have carved up all of the worlds, and maybe a brown dwarf or two for good measure. With that rubble, they fashioned a topologically creative enclosure, a twisting of space, a time sealed behind doors that admit only those who know the magic words. The bones of 100 planets have been cut smooth and laid out like a floor, a polished and lovely floor, creating vast living spaces. A floor bigger than 10,000 worlds, catching the fierce glory of the 7 suns, for light, for food, for beauty, and nothing escapes. No heat, no gravity, not even the faintest proud sound. It could be anywhere. It can live in the cold between galaxies, or folded up inside matter near enough to touch right now. I remember it, and maybe it's exactly as I describe it. 7 suns wrapped inside magic, or it's something else entirely, perhaps. A place still fat with life, an abundance of sentient souls, some decent, maybe a few of lesser quality, and everybody stands about, or floats about, or they bounce about between dimensions. The point is that the residents of this hidden realm live inside a bottle so perfectly hidden that they can't see beyond their borders, which shapes a mind in very specific ways. But beyond is their name for a mysterious, doubtful realm that they can't see, which is us, of course. What is up, VMC? These pages are really thick. Okay, that's just one page. All right. Ghosts 2. Okay. Just making sure my vet didn't text me again, and I don't think they did. This chair is cozy. And these PJs are cozy. But I'm just. I've spent a lot of the last few nights sleeping on the couch to keep an eye on her. So my back is killing me. But tonight, it's not on meds. Tonight, I will sleep in my bedroom with the door closed like normal, probably. Most likely. The Sky Safari? Wait, what? What did the Torkoal, a wild Torkoal, what is it talking about the sky? This Pokemon community game gets all sorts of crazy things these days. I don't even know. I haven't been catching things. What I need to do is I need to get the Steam Deck cable length longer so I can reach it while I'm sitting in my cozy chair. Because I cannot. I cannot. More Destiny content. Yes, we are reading the Grimoire. And we're going to keep reading. I keep getting distracted. It's been a while, and reading aloud is not something that I am not, I'm not natively good at this, you guys. I'm not very good at, creating voices or keeping my inflection good. I'm a silent reader, typically. But this is practice. This is good for your brain, you know? It's good for your brain. And my brain. Mostly my brain. Okay. I haven't been myself lately. Ghosts 2. 2 more scans and she could move on to the elevated grid. There wasn't really anything new other than the delta to the sea level, but at less than 30% of the way through, 2 to the 128 scans, even a distinction without a difference could feel like a brand new shell. Cassiopeia, so numb after months with just her own scans for company, she didn't even pick up on another ghost being this close. Observe? Wait, I'm sorry, you're Obsidian. Wow, how long has it been? Well, I know, it's been 6.8 years. It's just an expression. Obsidian floated closer. That's okay. It has been a while. I guess you haven't found yours yet. Cassiopeia projected glumness. Not yet, but I haven't been looking on Mars for that long, at least. I'm optimistic. You should be. I was just at the city last year. A lot more of us are starting to find our guardians lately. What's that? Cassiopeia resolved to run a full-range self-diagnostic before the next grid. 2 ghosts within 20 meters, and she didn't sense either one. Something was off. The new arrival chirped and spoke up. Hey, you 2. I'm glad. Identify Obsidian. To see a friendly face. I haven't been myself lately. Obsidian looked at Cassiopeia. He read as nervous. She probably did too. I was beneath the blind watch for a while, along siva.mem.gh404, while. It was fun. There were puzzles. No one was alive down there, though. Cassiopeia's scan of the new ghost returned nothing amiss. Are you okay, friend? I'm great. Something got in me, but the light, if light, then warning, burned it away. It's gone forever. Consume failure, replicate failure, enhance failure. There was a silence for a full 3 seconds. Then Obsidian spoke up, his words coming quickly. Well, great to see you again, Cassiopeia. Good luck. And he zipped away. Cassiopeia watched him disappear into the horizon. 2 self-diagnostics, she muttered. This is funny. You're trying to buy more? Yeah, I played a week ago, and then I've had some stressful kitty health stuff that we were working on. She might have asthma. She's on meds for now, but it's been a stressful week because the meds were definitely a much higher dose than I think she needed. And we just got a confirmation from my personal vet saying yes, cut back. So that makes me feel better. I'm in a good mood. That's why we're streaming. I'm still stressed, but I'm in a better mood because we're having the meds for the next week and then having it again the following week. And then she's on an inhaler for a month, and we will see after that how she's doing. Yeah, no, I didn't finish the first campaign mission. Like we changed characters twice though. So we started a new thing where basically if you really want, you can tip me through my donate link to change subclass doing whatever it is I'm doing. So I started off the campaign on legendary on my warlock and was immediately tipped to change to my hunter and then was tipped again to change to my titan. So all three of them have started the legendary campaign, and the hunter and the warlock are both about halfway through, and the titan's on the boss fight, except for it's reset now. So I don't know if that resets the campaign or not. I don't think it does, right? Because the campaign is the campaign. Right? Or maybe it is reset. Okay. I didn't even think about that till just now, and I was about to cry. Not cry, because I don't cry, but you know what I meant. What was I going to do? If you want to buy things, Nova, you got to do Polka Shop. No, Polka buy. Polka. I think it's Polka Shop. Polka Ultra. I'm going to do Ultra Balls. I always do Ultra Balls. Ba-da-ba. There we go. All right. Guardians. Legends are carved across history by the brave. Guardians are warriors forged in the traveler's light, a final hope in a universe falling into darkness. Chosen from the dead by the traveler's ghosts, guardians are those rare few able to wield the light as a weapon. For centuries they have defended the city, but that defense cannot hold forever. Now, with the darkness rising again, the time has come to retake our lost worlds. Guardians who lead the way will save humanity and become legend. Ooh. Is the music too loud, by the way? This is a really cool art piece. Yeah, I guess I could. I have you guys up on the far right vertical monitor because that's closest to me, so it's easier to read. And then the other monitors aren't being used for anything because I'm reading to you. It should be Pokemart. I agree. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say volume wise, it's even on its loudest moments, it's still only about half the volume of my voice, so that's good. Motes of light. The speaker has no interest in glimmer, marks, or other currencies of the tower's military functions, but he happily accepts these motes, points of light willed into being by an exercise of a mighty guardian's power. Some say they will one day become the souls of new ghosts. Others believe they feed the intricate machinery that the speaker tends. Whatever the case, the speaker will happily reward donors with patterns and signs from his collections, more out of gratitude than any mercantile impulse. Motes of light. Are we talking bright dust? Is this bright dust? Are they talking about why? Who's the speaker? Am I missing a chapter in my brain of who the speaker is? Somebody should tell me. Destiny 1. This is okay. I was thinking motes at first of like Gambit motes, and I was like, does that make Drifter the speaker? Thin line. Sometimes you forget which side you're on. Your ghost makes a list of things he wishes he could say to you. Talk to me about how you feel. I wish we would go home. You're on a rampage and I'm not comfortable with it. I don't think this is why the traveler chose you. You know I'll never leave you, right? But sometimes I don't like the look in your eyes. Every day the list grows longer. I'm here. I'm still here. Are you still here? I don't want to lose you to this. I love you. Oh. He was the one who spoke for the traveler? Oh. We're already on chapter 2. Okay. Ugh. I also got a new air purifier. Maybe to help my own allergies. My nose is already bothering me because I was playing around with my air filter. Because I also got some new air filters for the AC unit in my apartment. But then the air purifier I have sitting here, so it's pushing air up here, but the air circulates this way, so she's getting the benefit from the freshest part of the air, while I am still, you know, you know, sitting in it. Think of him like a priest or a shaman. Hey, look, there's a book one. Do I have it? I do. He translated because the traveler used to speak. I feel like I should go back and see if I can play the old Destiny 1 campaigns before they take them offline, because I do have Taken King on PS4. I don't know what all that would include campaign wise, but and I know they've retconned some of the story, but I think it would be an interesting thing to go do. Chapter 2, Ghost Stories. As if ghosts needed the humans and not the other way around. Ito. Ah, pressure. She was the first ghost to arrive, but it wasn't long until there were dozens of them scanning every pile of debris that remained of the North Tower. They came in search of the one who guided their journeys, the one who once spoke for the traveler. He called me Dijana. Before I met him, I didn't know what to call myself. She was speaking to the red-shelled one, who hovered where the speaker once studied the light. His eyes were ever fixed on the new brilliance of the living traveler. He called me Anwar. You never found yours either, did you? No, her journey had spanned centuries, on Earth, the Moon, and Venus, but she never unearthed a single soul she felt worthy of the light. I used to think it was me. Perhaps I was too picky. But, he assured me, humanity was vast. The gift of the light must be deserved, and it was better to be thorough than to end up with someone too weak to bear the burden, or worse, misuse it. He, at least, made me feel useful. I put my search on hold and served him as a cartographer. You? Deconstructionist. Anwar paused, drifted a few feet towards the luminous living traveler. Dijana, can you feel it? Dijana followed Anwar's gaze up to the traveler. Feel what? The pressure. That's ominous. Look at this picture, too. Dragging ghosts on a chain. Like, that's dark. Would be dark. Oh, I caught it. Oh. Ghost Hunter. Shadow, where are you? You were asking if the Ghost Hunter was in here. It is the next section. It is here. It is here. Shadow. I'm gonna read it, and I guess he will just have to go watch the VOD. Ghost Hunter. The speaker's warnings were clear. Always mind the light. If you feel it fraying, you've strayed too far. There are places even the traveler's light cannot reach. Now here I am, lost in the shadowy pastiche known as the reef, and not a single tether of light touches me. But that is what my guardian wanted. His name is Cyrell, and Cyrell called me Strain. I found him on the far edges of Mercury, in a valley that the Vex transformation had never reached. He seemed resilient, unwavering, old, and wise. I'd searched so long for my better half that I didn't hesitate. If I had considered but one moment more, I might have sensed how tired and burdened and tangled his soul truly was, and I would have left him in peace, and I would not be a murderer of my kin. Cyrell told me, when we came to the reef in the search of Awoken, he had heard stories of how this far-flung offshoot of humanity had returned to Sol with unparalleled knowledge. He believed they had the answer to a question he refused to share. I know now, however, that he really came here to spare me. He confessed he would not bear another battle nor fight in the name of something no one could possibly understand. Though he could not remember his past, he knew deep down that he had already fought his last war. He couldn't kill me. I was his friend. He doesn't kill friends. He wouldn't kill himself either. That was cowardly, weak. And if the ghost's sole purpose was to raise the dead to kill in the name of unexplainable forces, he would no longer let that happen. He would end the cycle. He would spare his brothers and his sisters in arms. He would let the dead rest. Years later, I saw Cyrell again, clad in a wretched-looking armor, dragging a chain of dead ghosts in the name of peace. Still searching for an awoken who could answer the one question that has haunted him since his rebirth. If you are a ghost who has not yet found your chosen, let this be a warning. Cyrell, the ghost hunter, will end your search for you. If you are awoken and perchance have the answer he seeks, please do not keep your secrets from him. Your life depends on it. That's freaking terrifying. That is terrifying. That is terrifying, misguided, and selfish. The package I was waiting for is here. I'll get it in a minute. The Chosen's Choice. She focuses herself to resurrect him once more. Only this time, she hesitates. She looks around, taking in the human carnage surrounding her. She thinks back to her arrival into this village, how its population lauded him and showered him with gifts, begging him to stay, to defend them, to keep them safe. Oh, my nose itches. At first, he seemed reluctant, but the longer he remained and the more the fallen he slew, the more they praised him. That praise emboldened him. He grew expectant, addicted to their exaltations and gifts. The more he consumed, the more the village's resources dwindled. He led expeditions to take from others. No warning, no diplomacy. He showed his might as one of the risen, and demanded he be lauded as a savior. Those he once protected now died under his charge, and they venerated him all the more for it. As much as she tried to guide him back into the light and remind him of why he was chosen, he could not hear her over the adulations of his newfound vassals. Resurrection after resurrection, his legend flourished. While the dead remained dead, he grew ever more covetous and unforgiving. He stopped learning from his losses and came to feel entitled to his immortality. One winter night, clad in golden armor, he made war on a seaside settlement of fishers and spiritualists. Not a man, woman, or child survived. Flushed with the high of an easy victory, he and his followers were ill-prepared for the fallen war party that had been stalking them for the last few moons. It was a massacre atop a massacre, and only he, one of the risen, would walk away from this. She looks away from the human carnage surrounding her, looks down upon the one she chose, his golden armor dulled with the blood of his victims, and his adorers still reflects back to her and the light of her single eye. He made his choice, and thus so will she. She turns her eye away from him, away from herself, and floats eastward towards the rising light. No, this is one of the warlords, yeah. It didn't actually give a name on this one. But, yeah. The we before us. I remember the moment before we were born. There was pain and loss and a feeling of falling. Was this the end? The shadows gathered, colored, bruised, purple, and gray in our fading conscious. Our shells cracked and splintered. Part of us were lost or carried away. We felt those wounds, jagged and sharp. We could feel them still, attached by a gossamer thin strand of understanding. We felt a garden with no blooms, a valley shrouded in gloom. We felt ourselves dying. We didn't want to go. Then there I was, separated from the whole. I could feel it shrink, slip back into itself, dim and unseeing, and I knew it was waiting, resting, watching, considering. And I knew what I needed to do. Somewhere in this wide, amazing galaxy, there was a person. They were quiet and dead, like we had been, but I could bring them back. I could share what was inside of me, this glorious warmth and life and breath of being. Together, that person and I would do what we, the we before me, could not. I wrapped the spark that was me in metal and glass, a tiny bit of something that reminded me of my home we had shared. Then I set out to find my person, the keeper of my light. There were so many people, so many still fragile things decaying in dust, lost to memory. I touched each one looking for something, a fragment of ember under the ash. I didn't find it. I know now that there is one person, only one, that is mine. I have been to many planets, seen things I never knew were possible, hid from monsters, followed dreams. I have seen others of my kind, the other pieces that were once us. Their search is over. They are complete, stronger, braver, because they have found their counterpart. I am alone. I know you are still out there, that you're waiting for me, but it has been so long, and I am so very cold. I will rest here and think about us for a moment. Cold, where we you. So sad. So sad. Okay. Ugh. Just stretch for a second. Ugh. Ugh. I can't reach. All right. Let me go grab that package that came really fast, and I'll be right back. Okay. I'm back. All right. We're trucking right along. There's only like 160 pages. We're already 20 pages in. We're doing good. We're doing good. Don't call me Ghost. I want a name. Is this because of Sagira? She's a terrible influence on you. She has a name. People don't just call her Ghost. It's insulting being called Ghost. I am not a thing. I am me. Who are you then? I don't know. I'm me. And you want me to define you? That sounds like you're a thing. You're insufferable. Do you know that? You didn't have to bring me back. You know that's not true. Is it? There you go again. Tyra, questioning everything, treating this entire world like a puzzle that you have to record and analyze and put in your files. I cannot do anything else. If I do not question, do not study, do not learn, I have no purpose. Every mind has its own form. You've been reading philosophy again. Rasu, Cora lent me a copy. Don't pout, Ghost. It's annoying. So is being called Ghost. Might as well cover me with a sheet. Choose your own name. You don't need me to define you. I will. Well, what is your name, Ghost? Don't call me Ghost. Is there a theme to these? They're all about it. So this is the 6th Grimoire book from Destiny, and the theme is partners in light. So it's just recorded stories from ghosts. These are all just little snippets of different ghosts and their experiences in their lives, I guess. I don't know, we're only 20 pages in, but I'm pretty sure it's just about ghosts. Hola, Goku. We did read one about the ghost hunter, ghost killer, ghost hunter. Shadow's gonna be sad he missed it because he asked if it was gonna have that in here, and it did. Compliments. I remember talking to Ophiuchus one day about the connection between ghosts and guardians. This was years and years ago, back when we were still in the city and Osiris was Vanguard commander. Osiris and Ikora would talk for hours, days sometimes, and frankly, it was pretty boring, especially when I got stuck entertaining Ophiuchus. Seriously, that ghost is not a conversationalist. Anyway, O said that he had a theory why there was one ghost for one guardian. He thought that each of us had strengths that complemented weaknesses in our guardian, and vice versa. that we needed to be together, or neither of us would be whole. Like soulmates? I asked. Because I am not in love with Osiris or anything. Not only would that be really weird, he kind of gets on my nerves a lot of the time. It's not a romantic attachment, O said. If he had eyes, he would have rolled them at me. It is my belief that the traveler understood that people would not be enough to protect humanity, that it would take those who are extraordinary in both body and spirit, and that only by merging of ghost and guardian into a single unit could this be accomplished. I don't know where Ikoria keeps you, I told him, but Osiris and I are not a single unit. You've heard us argue a lot. Why do you challenge him? Os asked. Because no one else will. He's the great and powerful Osiris, hero, scholar, savior, yada yada. And no one, not even Ikora, really challenges him. They do what he wants, even if it's a terrible idea. Not me. Everyone needs someone to tell them to get over themselves once in a while, especially Osiris. Would you say that is a strength that complements a weakness? I didn't answer. I hate it when someone else is right. Good thing it doesn't happen often. All right then, smarty ghost, I finally said. What about you and Ikora? You're both rigid and stuffy, read too much. I am a calming influence. I encourage her to think before she acts and not let her emotions get the best of her. I couldn't help it. I cracked up. It actually took me a minute to get under control. Ikora, I said, laughing so hard I could barely talk. Have you met Ikora? All she does is think. You don't know her at all, Ophikius told me. So that was a conversation between Ikora's ghost and Osiris's ghost. That was cool. Ugh, my knee. I need to start going back to the gym in the mornings too. Now that she's on a lower dosage, we'll see how she is first thing in the morning. But if she's doing well, I'm going to go to the gym again tomorrow. I was doing really well last week. I went 4 days out of 5. And now here we are Wednesday and I haven't gone once. But I feel like the anxiety is giving me enough of a workout as it is. So. Just checking on you. What I don't like about the meds is not only does it make her lethargic, but it seems like it's made her really weak. Her muscles and stuff, it feels like it's really easy to she doesn't feel as solid. She did lose some weight, but she's picked back up a little bit. I weighed her before stream started, but oh, big stretch, baby girl, big stretch. You know, check out that package on the ottoman. Okay, all right. No res for the weary. My guardian is immortal. My guardian is forever lost to me. He boarded the derelict Almighty with his fire team, hoping to salvage Cabal secrets from the Star Murderer. I should have seen the trap. Was it Cabal? Was it some infection from Mercury? I don't know. It's all my fault. I remember how the moment of activation felt like falling. He lunged first for the center, crying out to his friends, I'll disarm it. He is still lunging, flying to the Almighty, and you will find him there, caught in the amber of slow time, reaching forever. I have observed his motions carefully. He will arrive at the mechanism and deactivate the trap in only a little bit more than 50,000 years. I cannot resurrect him. I have tried so hard. The city's warlocks and Thanonauts answered all of my desperate questions, even when I began to ask if he could be destroyed. At least if he were gone, unmade, then I could make him again. Why can't I bring him back? If a guardian falls into Titan's methane sea, they do not die instantly, but we can still bring them back on the arcology. If a guardian hurls himself off their ship into space, do we need to wait for them to disintegrate in the solar wind before bringing them back? No. It was never hard before. I see him right there, and he seems so close. All I was ever meant to be was his ghost, but all ghosts know there are places where we cannot bring our guardians back to life, and this is one of them. Why? Is the darkness gathering against us here? Is the light too weak? I think I know why. Some share my theory. What do we do when we bring our guardians back? What is the magical heart of the process? Are we like the city's probability kilns, twisting the quantum vacuum in our favor to yield matter? Perhaps, perhaps. But certain members of a cult I shall not directly name have their own specific interpretation of this process. When you bring him back, they told me, you must have a template, an image to provide you with the information you need. Where do you find that template? Simply in a neighboring timeline, a place where he is still alive and intact. And wherever there is great danger, wherever the probability of death is too high, then those timelines become scarce and hard to reach. And so you find the zones where guardians cannot easily be remade. If this is true, then I am doomed and free. There will be no alternate worlds in which my guardian escapes that trap. There will be no hope of resurrection. I will be a ghost alone, but the thought haunts me that I might be wrong and that he is still waiting for me. That's traumatic. I thought this would be kind of fun and light and this is a little dark. Also some cool just default ghost emblem artwork there. Kind of on a starry cartography vibe going on about it. Confession of Hope, Part 1. The choice haunts me. I was not reasoned. I let emotion get the better of me. The fallen had moved on. The few survivors were huddled close in the dark of a cave, muffled with their heavy, quick breaths, stifling their sobbing. When I found them many nights before, I also found renewed purpose. I had traveled these dead and dying worlds for longer than I cared to remember, all the while in search of a spark worthy of ignition. Over time, I'd grown weary, but in this small band of survivors, I found hope. If I couldn't find a lost soul worthy to be touched by the light, then I would find another way, a smaller way, to be of service. I would lead the small gathering of desperate men, women, and a single child to a growing sanctuary beneath the traveler. If I could not find a hero to challenge the darkness, I would be a guide to those in need of salvation. It took some time to gain their trust. I was odd, other. They thought I was an angel. I told them I was not. They named me Tianchi. I did not object. The child marveled at me. She, still too young to speak, much less comprehend, he had a presence that was a burden and a boon. His parents did all they could to nurture him, protect him with the aid, comfort, and care of their traveling companions, once strangers, now bound deeper than blood by their shared experience in this new life after the end of the world. On that day, in that cave, huddled in fear as the fallen skiff's roar faded over the tree line, the mother wailed, a sound I had never before heard and hoped to never hear again. Hello. Such pain, such sorrow, grief, suffering, loss. Her cry echoed through the forest, her husband weeping on the edge of breaking down, simply held her, and the dead child in her arms. The others tried to calm them out of fear that the fallen would return. The attack had been swift and brutal, 20 dead, only 9 survivors here in this cave. I watched the tree line, anxious and afraid. The mother's pain filled the space between the thick trees. I turned back to her and saw it for the first time. The child's spark. Faint, but there. This little boy was not in my charge. Those selected to return were champions. This child was so small, so frail. What devotion had he shown? What bravery? What had he sacrificed? But a thought lingered. Was it not my purest purpose to deliver hope? Every hero raised fought not for themselves, but for the whole of humanity. If saving one life, if redressing this one terrible loss was not a worthy cause, what was? I watched the mother as she cried. I felt myself expand. I felt the light that was me intensify. In a way, it was outside of my control, as if something had reached inside of me and flipped a switch. A beam erupted from my core, bathed with light the child's small... A beam erupted from my core and bathed with light the child's small broken body. A second passed, and he began to cry. All fell silent. The traveler's gift had been given. A child returned, and with him the beginning of my journey's end. Did I do the right thing? Would the child grow to reach his his peak physical self? Would he, like all returned, be ready for the wars to come? But then a thought came over me, one I had never before considered. Maybe death would have been better. Had I saved the child or doomed him? As his cries echoed, the survivors looked on in shock. There was joy in their silence, wonder. I looked down on him, and pride began to well inside me. I had done what was right. But that was then, only months ago, but long enough to see a lifetime. Now the fallen are back, we are running, and I fear the promise of a gift given is far from enough to save us from the pirate's blade. Fragment of the last transmission from an unknown ghost. That, you guys, this book is a sad book. This isn't, this is sad. This whole book is so sad. There. Okay, part 2. Out here in the wilds, survival depends heavily on your ability to elude fallen patrols. Everything else, every other danger is secondary. Exposure, starvation, hungry beasts, crazed bandits, all can be assessed and managed. But fallen, these vicious pirates, they hunt and kill not only for their own survival, but for sport. They relish the slaughter. I was guiding our ragtag group through the dense woods, but with a child to carry and many survivors wounded, we didn't move quickly enough. We'd been spotted a few miles back. The attack was swift, violent. The child's mother fell almost immediately. His father, foolishly, though maybe it's best to imagine he was brave, let his grief and fear get the better of him. He ran to her aid, but there was none to give. Now he was gone as well. 2 parents dead, 1 orphan child gifted in the ways he cannot yet understand. Others grabbed the infant and fled. He cried, confused, frightened. They muzzled his fear and made for the thick of the forest. I followed. The child was mine to protect, if I could. I had no choice but to stay with him, and yet here I am. This hasty diction is meant to give some insight, if needed, into my choice, into my moment of weakness that led to a child reborn. I'm counting as I flee, so mind the clipped nature, this truncated plea for understanding, and a brief history of what happened here. I will send this message on signal to any ghost who may hear. The fallen are on me. I have run from the pack to lead them away. Should I survive, I will return to the child. Should I fall, he will be left to the others to raise, and will ever have only the 1 second life to give. I left him in the care of a terrified man and woman, but they are smart and caring, and they have courage, but know when to run, when to survive. They will stay hidden until the fallen are away. My light serving as a distraction to lure them as far from these humans as I can. I made my presence known to the pirates and darted from the last of the survivors, made myself a target to buy them time. But the time is short. The fallen are close now and closing. I can hear the bark of the war cries. I can feel the spark of their blades. They've long since learned that to kill one like me is a future problem solved. I am not sorry for the choice I made. The child gave hope, though fleeting. What comes next for him is unknown, but there is a promise in him. Should he find sanctuary, should he find guidance. This is not a confession. This is my hope, and this is my fragment of the last transmission from an unknown ghost. So sad. So even it sounds like that ghost clearly must have died, which means who knows, the child was basically just a normal human after that. If your ghost is dead, do you still have the powers of the light without the ghost? I don't think so, right? Osiris lost his ghost. That meant he no longer had the connection to the light, right? I can't remember. No ghost, no light. So the child became a normal child again. and may never have known that it was a resurrected baby. I made my peace. Oh, this section's called The Watchful Eye. I made my peace. If my other is not out here somewhere, if my guardian can't be found, then I will find ways to be of value to the greater good. It's been cycles since I told myself to be useful in any way possible, but it is my mantra, I repeat, a constant reminder. If I have no other, my actions must be enough. If I have no other, I will become the hero I cannot find. It sounded noble at the time. Turns out nobility is the kind of thing that places the well-intended in harm's way, and apparently I'm fine with that. Maybe we all are. Maybe that's what makes us heroic, accepting risk as a consequence of doing what's right. I've been tracking fallen crew movements along the edge of the EDZ for some time, careful not to venture too deep into their territory. After all, I'm only one ghost, without a guardian. I'm no use in a fight, but I can watch and learn and report.
Welcome to the desert. Hope you're thirsty.
Averted, thank you for the follow. I can find my own ways to combat the enemies of the light. All ghosts keep an eye out. We chronicle and share the highlights of our travels. It helps us and our charges navigate the frontier through the vast majority of these wild lands remain explored. The only difference between the ghost I am today and the ghost I used to be is my focus. Whereas I used to be driven solely by the need to find and sync with a guardian, I am now fully dedicated to spycraft, the art and execution of information gathering. And I am not alone. There is an entire network of ghosts like me. Should we find our others, we shall rejoice and shift our mission to serve the right hands of the true warriors of the light. Until then, we move swift and quiet through the vast wilds of the frontier, scouting our enemies' movements and cataloging their every action so that the vanguard and others may better assess and confront the dangers beyond the last safe city. We are small, we are few, but we are brave and we are heroes. Link, an unconnected ghost, part of the Vanguard's covert spectral network. Into the fray. Some of these pages are dense. Are a lot of these pages dense like this? Yes. This may not be a one-night book, guys. A lot of these are very text-dense pages. Text density? Text density? Damn it. I don't want that. So funny. Okay. She wasn't ready, but I had no choice. The Cabal mining rig was set to scorch the earth and then churn the soil to get at whatever they were after underneath. Problem was, my guardian, the one I'd spent a very long time looking for, was lying dormant in their path, a lifeless husk in need of a wake-up call before her remains were atomized, and I was left for eternity without my chosen. That I'd found her seconds before the Red Legion survey team arrived was unfortunate, but I had to do what I had to do. Some risks, after all, are worth taking. And it was now or never, and besides, there's no timing like bad timing. I opened myself up to the traveler's gift and enveloped her in light just as the mining rig settled. My new guardian gasped and sat up, crying out as if she were waking from a nightmare. Not good. The Cabal security team was on us quick. Their slug shots rang out. Before she could take a second breath, my guardian was dead again. I spun and hit her with another scan as the rig warmed its burners. The Cabal released their war beasts on us. My guardian was up as the ground heated and the war beast charged. She was confused, as was to be expected. Run! Run now! I tried to warn her, incite her to move, but she looked around dazed and confused. Then she saw the beasts. Instincts, as it turns out, is a compelling motivator. She was up in a flash, sprinting away from the rig's burners and away from the gnashing teeth that were quick on her heels. As soon as she cleared the rig, the Cabal opened fire. And here's where the risk became reward. My guardian didn't flinch, didn't cower. Instead, she got angry and aggressive. This long dead woman was back among the living for only a moment, and already she was one with the war. I wonder, perhaps, if it's what makes humanity the perfect weapon, if that's what makes its force worthy of concern. Not my place to say. Though what came next gave me pause and more than a hint of pride. My guardian charged the nearest cabal, a creature of war she had never seen, a hulking brute in thick-plated armor. She dodged and dodged, left to right and back again to avoid slug fire. A war beast lunged, clamping its jaws on my guardian's forearm. She yelled. The cabal laughed, the other beasts closed in. Then, my guardian, this woman only just reborn in the light, grabbed the beast's clamping down on her arm by the hind legs, lifted it, and brought her entire weight down on the creature's spine, knee first. The sound, cracked bones, and a sudden sharp yelp caused the other beasts to halt and the cabal to squell their laughter. She resumed her charge, no hesitation. The beast's limp body was still locked on her arm. She pulled it free. I could hear the flesh tear, but she did not flinch. Instead, she closed the distance, rushing the cabal. The beast held tight in her good arm's grip. The cabal raised his weapon, but too late. The other beast charged as my guardian pummeled the legionary with the corpse of his pet. It was brutal, swift. I issued a warning as the war beast lunged, but it didn't matter. Had already grabbed this cabal slug thrower in hand. What followed, I am reluctant to recount in full. She was new then, awakened into this world of sudden, fierce violence. All I will say is that I am here, my guardian is near, somewhere deep within the EDZ, there is a ground still darkened with the stain of cabal blood. Tam, a ghost recounting his guardian's resurrection. That's fun. Struck by wonder. I look upon them and I am struck by wonder. All they do, all they endure, not a single one asked for this life, this second chance, and when they awoke, when the light hit their eyes in the first instance upon their return, they were welcomed into a broken world. Yet they stand, time and again, against odds insurmountable, in defiance of all who would see their end. Such determination, such pride, such fierce love, joy, hope, fear, lust, such powerful will, strong enough to carve the promise of a new tomorrows across the barren landscapes of yesterday. It inspires. From the smallest victory to the grandest of conquest, I've seen it all. The raising of the first walls, the bravery of the six fronts, the desperation at Twilight Gap, the war of the devils, the taming of the wolves. I've seen the Iron Lords rise and fall, witnessed the last cycles of the Dark Ages, and cheered as new triumphs gifted all with the promise of renewed hope. Our return to the moon and Mars, the pruning of the garden, and the defeat of the hive royalty. Even Gaul and his armies, so many threats, so many challenges, yet our guardians stand, humankind persists. They are touched by the light, but no longer do I see it as a gift. Instead, it is their courage, their strength, their humanity that has been, in truth, the greatest gift, their greatest weapon. This thought brings me joy and a bit of peace amid so much chaos, and I find myself asking, often and with great anticipation, where to next? Observations of a ghost named Kaiser on Guardian Inspiration. A Hero's Requiem. You're all special. He was no different. At first just as special, same as the rest. All that's changed, obviously, over time. He distanced himself, stood out. It took some time for her to adjust to his personality. From what she shared, it took him time as well. The Cade 6, known to all, is not the man he was in total. His wit and his playfulness were a shield, a weapon as trained as his blade or his hand cannons. He called her Sundance. I was never sure why. She said it was from an old legend, a fable from the time before the time before. I always thought it was because of her spark, the grace with which she moved, so effortless, so sly. They were a perfect match. There's no doubt, he recounted, his return to those closest to him on more than one occasion, and there's no doubt as well that the events shifted a bit with each telling. Like his wit, the building of his legend was a weapon. For those who don't know, for those who were not lucky enough to hear the tale of Cade Six first from his own mouth, with that charm and the way he'd acted out of his favorite way, he'd act out his favorite parts, complete with sound effects, here is one telling. It's a recording from cycles past. It's not the whole story, but where Cade Six was involved, nothing ever was. Boom. I wake up, groggy, confused, hungover. It's the same for all of us, so that initial shock's nothing new. Sundance is in my face and I'm freaking out. My brain works. I don't remember a thing except that I seem to be a functioning life form. I'm human. I'm a man. And then my mind starts reeling 1,000 miles a minute. Boom, boom, boom. Like I'm downloading the Idiot's Guide to Basic Human Experience. Cool. Great. Still can't remember anything. And I sure can't wrap my head around the walking, talking, floating magic robot orb thing that's jabbering in my face. I'm freaked. So I freaked. Smacked her to the ground, hard, and I ran. I'm running. She's running. Or, whatever she's doing since she doesn't have any legs. She's right behind me. Wrong way, she's screaming. And I'm screaming. Whatever she's yelling, I just keep running. It's night. Did I mention that? It's nighttime. And my eyes are still adjusting, so I'm running. Can't see, can't remember, scared to death, confused as all get out, and then I fall. I'm straight up falling, just like that. I ran off a cliff. It wasn't a short drop. I bounced so many times, felt each one and every one. Till I didn't. Till it all went black, and then, boom, I'm back. She got me right up on my feet, just like she always does. And that, my dudes, was the start of a beautiful friendship. Most haven't heard that story, and in listening, you're hopefully looking for any definitive truth of who he was as a man or guardian. That's not what the story's for. Its purpose, now more than ever, fits nicely into the armor Cade wore best. He thought it was funny, and now more than ever, Cade would want us to laugh. Shiro 4's ghost at a gathering in Cade 6's honor. They put this in here on purpose, knowing that they were gonna bring him back, which I haven't gotten there yet. If you're playing any of the new Destiny content, I have only just barely started the first mission of the campaign 3 times on all 3 characters, but I have not beat it. So I have not seen any story yet. No spoilers, but I imagine that's insightful for others in ways that it isn't for me. Yeah, that was fun. From Fallen Ground. This is a giant block of text to go through now. I am quiet. I am not here. The fallen cannot see me. They cannot know me. I am not a shadow. But I move along them, silent, deliberate, of motion and intent as when I entered their hollow 1 month prior. I use the light of day to mask my own. Because the forest here is barren. It's a dead place to and fro, a constant buzz as the scavengers go about the business of stripping this world of its old glories. And I watch, I learn, I record, and I preserve. Their every movement is my obsession. I hang on their every word, even though I am not versed in their nightmare tongue. But others are, and they will decipher it. Oh my god. And they will decipher it. They will find the secrets hidden within. Secrets are like weapons, and I am an instrument of their unmaking. They are an enemy, they are cruel, and I will learn and share, and they will be undone. What is that shouting? I am deep now, no telling how far in. I've tracked each meter, mapped every path, but this maze is ever winding, and their cheers now echo, violent with joy, and I hesitate to investigate as I am entering unknown corridors thick with security. Yes, this place is special, a holy place, a mechanized place, and the shouts merge with screams and the grinding of gears, and the joy joins with the pain. There is suffering here, punishment, a ritual? I must know so we may know, and I move slowly, carefully, must not be seen, cannot be detected, meter by meter, anywhere where their cover is provided, quick and with a purpose whenever exposed. I make my way, leaving other avenues unexplored. The cheers must be understood. But eventually they die, replaced by the harmony of the pirates' busy days and nights. Oh my, how they never rest. Or rather, When they rest, others continue the work, prepping scavenger sorties, sifting through the spoils, readying their fleet, their weapons, their worship. The manner in which they revere machines. I should feel safe here. I should be among their gods. Am I a machine? I don't know. I don't know anything. Their worship is not so simple. With the cacophony of excitement no longer echoing, I slow my pace but remain vigilant in my efforts to locate its origin. It is a few weeks before I do. Weeks before now. A ceremony has just ended and I am sending out a recollection of what I have seen, because I am seen. These are my final moments of this, I am sure. The ceremony is a combat ritual and fury. It is a pit and arena where the lesser and unworthy must prove their value or suffer and die. How they fight dirty. Oh, how they fight to survive and to thrive. In this pit before the eyes of an Archon, shamed Elixni may redeem themselves. Lesser pirates may improve their station and drag to a vandal to a captain to... This is their forge, their place of judgment, their trial before their betters. This is what we are up against. Kill or die, thrive or perish. They have no use for the weak, and they watch and cheer and scream as their Archon looks on. But I have become careless. The fervor became a distraction, and now the Archon's eyes have found me, and I am too deep to run, and I think he is smiling. The last frantic transmission of Ren, a brave ghost of the spectral network. It's story time. Ooh, we have more art finally. Oh, look at this. This looks like a play about orcs, maybe? Oryx? Every time I say it, I think it sounds like I'm saying orcs, like Lord of the Rings orcs, but it's oryx. It's a very similar consonant vowel sounding structure. Okay. Ghost Community Theater presents Oryx, the Nightmare Daddy. One brave ghost versus the death from outer space. A 4.5 act play. Written and directed by Diddy, ghost of Marcus Wren. Starring Marcus Wren, hero's ghost. Diddy, the ghost, guardian hero. Enoch Blast as Oryx. Pixie, ghost of Arid Gris. Era Hulk. Sweeperbot as Era Anuk. Ghost of Enoch Blast. Ghostly shade of Crota. See the play that Commanders of Allah calls an insensitive and disrespectful travesty of a production with truly abominable prop design, an insult to the art of papier-mâché. The Epinus ghost himself calls it, is this supposed to be me? Oh no. Ghost, the ghost of Tira Karn, calls it a 4.5 act structure, but that makes no... Stories do have rules, You can't... What constitutes half? And you know what? I don't need to entertain this nonsense. Opicius, the ghost of Ikora Ray, calls it judgmental silence. Lord Shax calls it undeniable, enthusiastic, I'll grant you that, but is the dialogue meant to come across so sexually charged? Ghost, the ghost of Tira Karn, calls it, I've been thinking about it, and I really do think it would be worthwhile for you to learn the basics of narrative composition. Sit down, we're gonna do this now. That's so funny. I think the whole Shax's like, is this dialogue meant to become across so sexually charged is my favorite part. Okay. Difference of opinion. Peregrine Institute of Higher Learning presents Ghost Stories, interviews with two ghosts of the traveler. A guest lecture by two guardian-less ghosts about life, light, and the search for their guardians. See, they know their audience, you're right. Featuring Balthazar, unpartnered, and Peach, unpartnered. Transcript of the Q&A session is as follows. Question. What is the traveler in your understanding? Balthazar. Great question. Peach. Terrible question. Balthazar. In a sense, it's the only question. The traveler is our primary, our mother, the primordial, and the pinnacle. A dear friend, The ghost of Pujara once compared the traveler to a song that has never been sung. Peach. Look, the answer no one likes to give is that no one knows what the traveler is or anything about it, not even us. Balthazar. We know she wished for us to raise guardians to be her avatars and defenders. Peach. Do we though? Just because we can do that doesn't mean we were made to do that. And who says it's she anyways? Why does it need a gender? Mood. Balthazar. The traveler, in her omniscient wisdom, looked into the past and the future, and from all generations that emerged from the cradle of earth, she chose the best of them to be her champions. Each ghost was lovingly and carefully created for their one true guardian. The ghost and guardian complete each other. Peach. If that's true, then the traveler's kind of a jerk. Balthazar. Excuse me? Peach. Look, I know tons of ghosts who died before they ever found their guardians. I know some ghosts who still haven't found a guardian. You haven't, and I haven't, but I don't think I'm incomplete because of it. Balthazar. I have the humility to recognize my own shortcomings and submit myself to the traveler's plan. This is a funny dialogue because Peach is me. Q. Do you remember being inside the traveler? Peach. No. Balthazar. I do. We call it the womb. Peach. I have never and I will never call it that. Balthazar. Imagine a cosmos inside a bottle, trillions of stars orbiting each other in a complex weave, but they aren't stars. Perhaps a better word would be souls. Souls dancing in an infinite space enclosed within a celestial egg. Peach. Which is it? An egg or a womb? Balthazar. It's called a metaphor. Well, then pick a better metaphor, not 12. Balthazar. Well, what would you call it? Peach. I wouldn't call it anything because I don't remember it, and I don't think you do either. This is good. This is whoever wrote this chapter. This might be my favorite because these are some of the same exact arguments that I have said during so many cutscenes. I was like, is it good though? Is it good versus evil? Who arbitrarily decided to make this inanimate object a god that we like? Question. Some people say that each ghost is an aspect of the traveler. That is to say, that each ghost represents a part of the divine whole. Peach. Loud laughter. Balthazar. Would you please? This is unbecoming. Peach. First of all, that wasn't a question. Second of all, more laughter. Third of all, if I'm part of the traveler's brain or soul or whatever, then the traveler sure isn't divine. I'll tell you that much. I love this. Question. What will you do if you never find a guardian? Balthazar. I shall find a guardian. The traveler has willed it so. Peach. Did you get that in writing? Balthazar. It is true that some ghosts die before finding their partners. If that happens to me, then I suppose I will do nothing, since I will no longer be. But I have faith. Peach. If I never find my guardian, I'll go steal someone else's. I hear Segura had a good time with that. What? Wait, Segura took somebody else's? Wait, is Zavala? Segura's Zavala's, right? And was Zavala somebody else's? Wait, what? Question. If you could eat, what would you eat first? Peach. Finally, a good question. Balthazar. We do not know the desire for food. Our semi-corporeal form. Peach. Nectarines or hot sauce. Oh, or crickets. Crunchy roasted crickets. Crunchy food sounds so fun. I wish I could get cricket carapace stuck between my teeth. Here's a question for you. What's it like to have teeth? Target. Oh wait, so Segura is Who's the Segura's then? Was that Osiris's? Segura? Balthazar. Is this over yet? That might be my favorite chapter so far. Okay, so it implied in that chapter that Segura took somebody else's guardian. So Osiris was somebody else, had a different ghost, and Segura took Osiris? Or did Osiris's ghost die and Segura adopted him? I feel like I'm missing a chapter in my I always feel like I don't remember enough of the lore for it to make sense. But I like reading these and then asking you guys so you can fill in the gaps that I will or will not maybe remember. Here's a really cool picture. Sagira was the ghost who belonged to the legendary warlock Osiris. She appeared in the expansion Curse of Osiris, acting as a guide to the Guardians. Yes, but it implies, Critter, it implied in that last chapter that Sagira took Osiris from a different ghost. It said, Peaches, if I never find my guardian, I'll go steal someone else's. I hear Sagira had a good time with that. What? Was there another ghost that was going to resurrect Osiris and then Sagira stole him? Is that what that's meaning? I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, but I think it's funny. Ugh, stretching. Protector of Ghosts. From Micah 10 to Talalu Fairwind. Category 5 Sat Bounce. Priority 3. Hello, old friend. I have a knack for finding hunters. Another of my little pack has found her partner, a human male, and now the two of them are coming to you by watercraft over the Pacific. Keep an eye on this one, Talu. He has taken the name Andol Brask, and I believe he will be trouble. Perhaps all of this travel has made me sentimental for when one of my ghost wards finds their guardian. I am sad because my pack grows smaller. I miss them when they're gone, and now I am down to one ghost other than my own. Pup, we call him, the runt of my metallic litter. Pup has yet to speak, but always his little blue eye searches for his guardian. I plan to resupply at the Cosmodrome and then take Pup north. Those steppes are uncharted territory except by that lone wolf Connor. My correspondence with him is regular in the outbound direction. I consider myself lucky when he answers every 5th message. Still, you and I both know his intel is good. No one else knows Old Rusher like he does. Perhaps in the Cosmodrome, I will find a ship capable of breaking atmosphere. Though there is much of this earth I have yet to see. I have come across more than a few ghosts who believe their guardians are off-world, waiting in the Golden Age ruins of the Freehold, and Ishtar, and beyond. Some of these little lights have decided to brave the null on their own and to reach the fated partners. I tell them there's still so much of Earth we've yet to sniff out that perhaps their guardians have not yet been born, but some of them are convinced. If my next ghost pack wants to make the journey, I am determined to join them. These last few months, we've enjoyed the pleasant absence of Cyril. Now I feel more confident that we lost him in Australia's. If he tries to hurt my ghosts, I will rip out his throat. I hope you're not feeling too cooped up. You're still doing good work, Talu, and as they say, better you than me. Your faithful den mother of ghosts, Micah 10. Oh, I do remember that. That's what they're... Okay. Yes, Sagira stole Osiris? Wait a second. I'm getting 2 answers now. Because yes, I do remember during the Witch Queen stuff how Sagira occupied the inside of Argos with us, just kind of temporarily bunked up because they lost their form or something. I can't remember. Or we were just trying to keep them safe, something like that. Savin, I am searching, I am close, I can feel that I am close. What will my risen be like? Will she be honorable? Will she be a brute? I should be able to tell, shouldn't I? I don't know. I don't know that it matters. I have been searching since the day that I was born. I will take anyone. I crest a dune. The Gobi is endless, and in the evening light. And then I see it, a burnt-out building, the only man-made structure for miles. I do not know whether to fly faster or to keep a stately pace. It does not matter. The dead cannot see. I am nervous. Why am I nervous? As I draw closer, I rehearse what I might say. First introductions are important. You are a child of the Traveler's Light, I say to myself. You have been chosen in the defense of the solar system. No. You are both children of the Traveler. We are both children of the Traveler. You and I are both children of. I forget my words as I slip into the building and find meteorological equipment. I find an empty office. I find a dingy break room, and at the back of the break room, I see my other half, a fallen vandal crushed beneath a toppled freighter. I am devastated. I have seen the fallen. They are butchers, castaway murderers. I would take anyone, but not this thing. I turn away. I count 17 slow laps around the room and then another 4 around the building. I should be decisive, shouldn't I? I should be filled with pride that I have fulfilled my purpose. I am not. It doesn't matter. I cannot ignore the pull. I return to the break room. I do not know what I will say, but fallen or no, it is the traveler's will that I do this. I reach toward the light and then reach forward toward that pull to join them together. The refrigerator trembles, and as the light suffuses him, I hear a low groan. Push it away, I whisper. If my risen dies beneath this refrigerator and I fly away into the sun, no one will know. Perhaps I will have done the earth great service. I am here with you, but you must help yourself. Push it away and sit up. The refrigerator shifts, then topples to the side. An awoken man sits up and pushes the dead vandal off his chest, like an unwelcome blanket on a hot summer night. With effort, he wiggles free and stands straight. Who are you? He asks. He looks around, then down at his hands. What am I? I am your ghost, I say with more than a hint of obvious relief. You are one of the travelers chosen, a defender of humanity. What is your name? He flexes his fingers, works his jaw, blows a raspberry. Then he looks at me. Savin. Yes, I think I called myself Savin. He nods, satisfied. Let's go, your ghost. Your ghost is one word. We're doing story time. We're reading the Grimoire, Volume 6. He literally named his ghost Your Ghost because that's how she introduced herself. That's funny. That's interesting. At first I was like, did we ever have any ghosts pick them? And we didn't. So she was his assigned ghost. She stole our ghost shell. Yeah, okay. Goss, I think you're probably right. Pulled pork. No, maybe it's back from when we still had was it Mercury? And he had that little time space corridor place. Maybe we had more lore on him then and I just never read it. Maybe it's in the game lore books for him. Pulled pork. Nikechi 32 lies on the hull of her ship, skimming through the gossip and salvage requisition lists on the van net. Agu nestles in the magnificent feather ruff on her chest plate and looks out at the debris of the reef. Revised Crucible rules are garbage, blah, blah, blah. How does this have like 300 comments? She says, flicking to the next page. Where's the juicy stuff? Hey, it's pulled pork, Agu says, peeking up over one of the Neki's tremendous pauldrons. She sits up right away, eyes lighting with interest. Really? Where? Pulled pork is the name they've given to a very sweet, very earnest ghost that has been looking for his guardian for about as long as they can remember. Pulled pork is not his real name, but it feels right, like calling Marasov by her full name instead of just her forename. Agu directs Neki's attention out into the floating scrap. Sure enough, there he is, a tiny speck moving with meticulous patience across the surface of a blasted out, fallen skiff. Let's go say hi, Neki decides, disabling her van net HUD. She climbs to her feet and begins a lazy zero-gravity parkour running, leaping, and drifting from one hunk of scrap to another. Hey, buddy, she calls when they get close. What you doing? Pulled pork finishes up a scan of a floating piece of concrete and rebar and then turns toward them. I am looking for my guardian, he chirps. That's nice. You're gonna find him in that rock? You never know, Miss Necky. 32? Maybe my guardian is very small. Maybe, Necky agrees, but you might want to consider scanning the dead, bud. That shell's pretty snappy. Is it new? It's reef purple with a flower-like silhouette and silver detailing. Yes, it is. It was a gift, and thank you for your suggestion. I have considered it. I do often scan the dead. I also scan other things. I like to be thorough. Pulled pork bobs into place politely, almost bowing. Please excuse me one moment. He turns to scan a piece of warped plasteel. They watch. Netchki shakes her head. Oh, leave him alone, Agu whispers in her ear. If he goes through every bit of scrap in the reef, he'll find someone eventually. Sky knows there are plenty of bodies and body parts floating around here. Yes, we said that when we found him on Mars, and that was before Twilight Gap, Netchi replies. Well, with that in mind, let's check back on him in a couple of months. Who knows? Maybe he'll get lucky and find the greatest guardian of all time. Shoot, you found the greatest guardian of all time. Do you guys know who pulled pork ended up picking? Because I feel like we know about pulled pork, but I don't remember who it is. Was that Drifter? Alright. Who guards the Guardians? Around me, the pitter-patter of desperate steps, the thump-thump of armor-piercing micro-rockets, the cries and the screams that fill the air. I feel nothing. I am filled with nothing. Just frozen, empty, soulless, lightless. The Red Legion has come and taken it all away. Despite the desperate steps diminish. Eventually the desperate steps diminish. For a few minutes, the last city falls silent. Then the low growl of their breathing, the clanking metal of heavy slugs, throwers against their crimson armor, the tremors of their heavy-booted steps as they draw near. Thud, thud, thud. Mortals ask themselves the same question all the time. That question about meaning, about their place in this universe. But we don't. Perhaps at first we tried to make sense of the day that the Traveler pushed us free from itself, but no, not anymore. We know our purpose, why we're here. In ancient times, humanity dreamed of gods and heavens and winged protectors that watched over them and kept them safe from uncontrollable and unpredictable harm. In this age, I believe humanity sees that in the Guardians, yet the Guardians meet with trouble. Who guards the Guardians? Thud, thud, thud. Crow's ghost. Oh, okay. Oh, he's Glint. Oh. They're close now. If they think I'm not going to stay by my guardian's side to the bitter end, even though she's already met hers, they're definitely mistaken. I am meant to do this. My light will return. She needs me. Thud, thud, thud. Those heavy red-booted steps come around the corner. I will not move. We're face to face. I will not abandon her. They raise their weapons. I will not let my purpose go unfulfilled. A rush of light. Can it be? Yes, the light. I can bring her back. I can. Bang. Much sadness. I told you, this book is sad, you guys. This book is so sad. It's also very heavy. Okay. Let me just pull this back out. Maybe I'm just going to put the book on this. There, now I don't have to hold it. It's helpful. That's very helpful. Yes, Saltini. Clean up. What time is it? Hungry? You want some wet food? Yeah? I put it out on the counter so it'd be room temperature. I should add lifting. Yeah, but like, this is... It's not just the holding it, it's the holding it and then holding it with your hand like this. It's really hard on your hand. They actually make special mobility aid devices for people to hold books with like that because it can cause really bad tendon strain in your hands. It has nothing to do with like hand grip strength. It's just awkward and unnatural for your hands to hold that position for too long. I'm gonna go give her some wet food really, really fast. And I'll be right back. Ugh. Hungry? Okay, I got myself a sparkling water too. Okay, I'm just gonna crawl. uh, I'm gonna just turn this way now instead for a bit. I pour back. Problem is I slouch. I've been using the exercise ball. You'd be so proud of me for work. Today I sat on the exercise ball all day. And my back is just sore and tired. I think going to the gym was helping a lot, but then last few days of not going, you know, trying to get that back strength back. And I know that we mentioned making Wednesdays workout Wednesdays. That is still the plan. We will continue that next Wednesday. This Wednesday was just the culmination of a lot of stress from other things. So, okay. Am I too far away? No, you guys can still hear me. I can probably bring this just a little closer though. There we go. Still good. Okay. Whether windmills or cranes. We set out to challenge the unknown, he said. The quest has to become his quest was to become legend, to slay beasts and conquer terrible lands. His quest was honorable, though in the end misguided. No, not in the end, much sooner. The flaw in his ambition became evident shortly after we crossed the Western Mire. At first, I took his flights of fancy as a playful enthusiasm, frivolous, aggression free of consequences, a means of honing his focus and skill in advance of the dangers to come. But quickly, oh so quickly, I found his mind was not in tune with reality. He was driven, pulled by his imagination. Where any other would see the crippled ruins of an old world crane, the snapped length of its long arm creaking in the breeze, he would see a demon, and in the cutting shrill of the swaying metal's cry, he would hear a monster's ravenous shriek. He had long talked of adventures of his life past. I am an anomaly, he would decree, the lone guardian whose past rings true, whose history is his guide. He spoke about that dead life with such passion, in such detail, I not only wanted to believe, I did. But as he charged the crane's age-poked carcass, I knew a truth that had haunted me since the carving of the wicked wood some months ago. He was broken, his mind unsettled, his truths unfettered by fact, unbound by reality. He had named the wood, and as he had the howling hills, the dead man's crevasse, the Gorgon's maze, all mundane landscaped marked as hazards to be conquered, enemies to be slain, and as he weaved a mythic tale of his own grand, and as I would find delusional design. In the hills he slaughtered wolves, he called them hounds of hell. In the crevasse he buried the remains of long dead survivors, he called them foot soldiers of the Necro King. Down in the maze he covered his tracks so that the stone mother could not follow. He did all of those things and none, because none of those things were true outside of his fraying mind. The wolves were simply rabid, the bones no threat beyond a reminder of the lot of what we'd lost. The maze just a canyon, one way in, one way out, a straight shot through. As the crane fell and my guardian issued his killing blow, he laughed and then turned to me. His eyes, I could see he was gone. The one I'd returned, all of those cycles past, replaced by a hollow shell filled with madness. I do not know what broke him, or if he had ever been whole to begin with, but in that moment, as he spoke, the conquered husk of the dragon of Summer's End, which wasn't really a dragon, but simply a fragile old crane lying defeated in his wake, I knew I would have to let him go, to end his slide into uncontrollable folly. Hansa, old man, he started, the dragon is gone, but he yielded his treasure to me in a whisper, a secret so dire it may just save us all. He leaned closer and said in a hushed voice, as if sharing it confidence, the traveler is no gift. It is a lie, a beacon for death and destruction. Within be dragons, nurtured by our suffering, weaned on our hope. All dragons must die. The shell must be cracked till its yolk drowns those who worship its deceit. Our last great conquest, the crowning battle of our legend, writ large. And then he shouted, for the light to endure, the traveler must perish. He was smiling, confident, manic. 2 days later, he took a fall while challenging the mountain troll of Gallows Rock. It was a boulder. There was no troll. It crushed him. And though it caused me great pain, still to this day, I did not return to him. How could I? His diseased imagination would surely doom us all. Hansa, lamenting the unfortunate necessity of leaving his guardian to remain unreturned. Hello, casual. Yes, Lore. A few things about this chapter. First of all, this definitely felt like it was a play on Don Quixote. I mean, it was called Whether Windmills or Cranes, right? Guy has gone mad or already was mad. But then his thing about the traveler being a beacon of doom. The traveler is no gift, it is a lie, a beacon for death and destruction. Within be dragons, nurtured by our suffering, weaned on our hope. All dragons must die. If I wasn't sure that the lore was already going a different direction with the traveler, I haven't gotten through the campaign yet. I don't know yet, so no spoilers, but like that could have been potential foreshadowing. This book did come out in December, so they wrote it last year. But they would have known what they were intending to do for this year. Interesting. How is your food? Is it yummy? Did you eat all of it already? Yeah. Interesting. Is its peak? I believe it. Batteries not included. What follows are simple things. Use each as needed. Use each as you will. These are not your strength, but may they bolster your might when the weight of the expectation falls down upon thee. When the war rage around you, find your peace. The light is not of you, and you are not of the light, and yet you are one. Give of yourself, and you will find all the things your fear is all you will find all that you fear is missing. You are a hammer, you are a shield. You know the difference, know yourself. Trust is a weapon, handle with care. The burden is not yours alone, no matter the burden. Should darkness call, answer true, and it will shrink from the light. Wear your confidence with pride, but know it is a tool, not a weapon. Be mindful of your joy, of the joy found in victory. It is earned, but should never be the aim. For all you will see, all you discover, never lose the gift of curiosity. The darkness would bend you to its will, but the light bends to yours. Failure is an opportunity to learn. If the bones talk, do not listen. I am your guide and your friend, your ally and your tool. Use me. I will never leave you, but should I fall, remain vigilant, remain true. This isn't the whole of my life advice, but it's something. We'll add more as we go along. An unknown ghost's life advice for an unknown guardian. No, I'm not giving her a ton of wet food either. So, you know, the little round cans? I gave her maybe a third of that because she hasn't been eating it for a while and I don't want it to upset her tummy to suddenly start getting to eat it again. I can look at the camera and move it to see how much of it she ate though. Yeah, she ate all of it. She ate the whole of the wet. There's plenty of dry though. So the trick is to be getting her to eat the wet again, but we're still going to keep it to only half a can because there's not enough fiber normally. But the meds are also making her really mushy, making her poops really mushy. And I kind of think that a little less fiber is probably a good thing right now. So I've been starting to give her wet food again. But we will see if her next poop will be a little less mushy. Kitty, yes. She's looking up at the filter too, and I'm worried that the thing's gonna fall. All right, it's fine. I changed out. So, Kitty, we had a fun little all nighter ER visit Sunday night slash Monday morning. And the result being that they think she has asthma, which is not great, can be very dangerous, but also is kind of sudden because she hasn't really had any like asthmatic symptoms in the past. So the rest of this week has just been me stressing the fuck out about her being on meds that are drastically affecting her, making her very lethargic and sleeping more enough that she's not eating as much as we'd like her to eat, and also giving her very runny poops and just overall like not the behavior of her normal behavior. So, got confirmation from my vet just this afternoon that yes, we can half the dosage of what she's been taking. So, she only takes one pill a day now instead of two, which is good. And then starting next week, she can do half a pill a day after that. And then as soon as I get the inhaler that they prescribed me, we switch to that and just do the inhaler. So we shall see how this goes. And then she'll have the inhaler for a month. And then we'll bring her in again and probably do new x-rays again to make sure everything looks good. And if she's completely cleared up, then maybe she doesn't have to be on an inhaler for life after all. Maybe we just have one in case of emergencies or something. But like, I don't know. Okay. So anyways, it's been a stressful week. That's why my Twitter link was like, "Hey, I've had a rough week." Cuz even now like I'm constantly looking at her. I'm like, "You doing okay? You doing okay? How you doing? You doing okay?" Cuz she's still very lethargic. I mean, she still had a pill today, but she only had one today. So I'm hoping that her energy comes back like tomorrow, still having only one pill. I hope she's basically back to normal by the evenings at least, and only lethargic during the first half of the day. She has been more alert all today, but not like as playful as I want her to be still. Like, I want to make sure that she stays healthy, doesn't lose too much weight and stuff, because that's been something we're always working on, is trying to make sure she maintains, if not picks up weight. Yeah. You can go back to sleep if you want. You're not going to get more wet food, but there is more dry food in here. What are you even looking at? Mm-hmm. Anyway, so in the interest of the likelihood of her probably maybe also still having asthma, we did buy, I have a air purifier tower that I have behind me because we've spent most of the time in the office today. And what I'll probably do is when stream ends, I'll move it to the living room and turn it on like on max and leave it in the living room for overnight so the air in the living room is more purified. And then tomorrow during the day while I'm working, I'll move it back in here and just whatever room we're present in for now will get the air purifier. And I mean, I hope to. There's a couple of larger ones that I put on my wish list, but they're very expensive. And then I have a couple of smaller ones that I applied to on the TikTok shop to get as samples that are like 2 smaller ones. And if I get approved for that, then I would just leave one in my bedroom and one here in the office and move this one that I bought to the living room for now. And then when I buy a house, hopefully I can get the bigger one for whatever bigger space I'll have. Anyways, we're on page 59 of 160 something. So we got a ways to go. We are a fourth of the way ish. That's not bad. We're a quarter. Almost a third, even. To map the unknown. His neck snaps. He's dead on impact. I get him up and ask him how he feels. He says, fine. I ask him how it felt. He says, can't remember. I ask him if he learned anything. He says, nope, let's go again. Same drop. Same distance. For the 5th time today, from this drop. This go. His trajectory
Welcome
is
to
less.
the desert. Hope you're thirsty.
Casual, thank you for the follow. This go, his trajectory is less headfirst, more parallel, on purpose, I think, varying the instance for a broader range within the experiment. He hits almost flat. The sound is squishy, wet. Death is instant. I get him up, ask him the questions, get the same answers. We've tried it all. The sudden deaths, live fire through every type of round and imaginable and range imaginable, the gradual asphyxiation from force, liquid, vacuum, the biological superbugs, hazardous materials, radiation. We've varied the duration of dying from immediate to over the course of years, multiple times. Time squandered on a quest for discovery that could have been better spent elsewhere. I wasn't always skeptical, but there's an old saying about learning from your mistakes or when to quit or something like that. I don't know, but I do know futility when I see it. We've tried it all. Nothing was learned. Others say differently. Others claim to have journeyed to on the other side of the death. Where's your proof, I say? Death isn't the answer when life is right here, staring you in the face. I say a lot of things. But here we are. My guardian is Soup at the base of the cliff, 2 times the height of the tower. And when I get him up, he is going to say some variation of, I'm fine. Don't know. Let's do it again. And we will, because mapping the unknown means the answers you don't have could be the answers hiding on the other side of one more try. A ghost questioning the repetition of his guardian's thanatonatic technique. That's funny. Chapter 3. Luna's Lost. Her name was Briah, and she was my first friend. She gave me kindness, comfort, and the light. She died so that I could have one last life. It is their parting gift to us. We must cherish it as much as we cherish our time with them. Eris Morn. So that's how Eris's ghost died saving Eris. She's just sitting in the hallway and I'm just watching her. This is why I haven't been streaming either. It's because I prefer to just keep an eye on her. You believe that was a D1 thing, the Eris Morn stuff? Yeah. That happened before I started playing, at least. Yeah. It's like she's fine. She's just sitting. Probably a little bored. I feel like the meds making her really drowsy, at times she's not normally really drowsy, is like throwing off her sleep schedule a lot too, which probably has her all kinds of uncomfy. But I think tonight I'm gonna sleep in my room Probably wake up every 30 minutes and check the cameras, but I think I'm gonna let her sleep by herself tonight. Actually get some sleep. Okay. And that plan is to kill a god. Sai Moda's ghost. Type, live combat feed, contingency record. Parties 1, ghost type designated Yukai. Yuka. Associations, light, omnigul, warmrot. Audio preserved. Transcript follows. Y1. I raised her 43 times, but on the 44th death, Omnigul's wormrot clung to her bones, rendered my powers useless on her. Y2. Now my light is fading, but if there's a chance to revive her, I won't leave her. I won't. Type, live surveillance feed, contingency linked. Parties 3, 1, Guardian type, class Warlock, designated Ariana, 3. 1, Guardian type, class Hunter, designated Eris Morn. 1, Guardian type, class Hunter, designated Sai Moda. Associations, Crota, Arena 3, God, Hive, Moon, Earth, Morn, Eris, Moda Sai. Audio unavailable. Transcript follows. Let's see. SM. So, Sai Moda. So driven by the words of an exiled madman and a desire for revenge, you are planning a forbidden attack by half a dozen people in an interdiction zone where thousands of guardians were killed, and that plan is to kill a god? Did I get that right? Eris, yes. Who's the other one? Ariana, yes. Eris, yes. Sai, good. I'm in. I like that. Zol, Ul, Aka. Gimbal 4's Ghost. Type, live combat feed, contingency record. Parties 2, 1, Ghost type, designated Jeeve. 1, Guardian type, class Titan, designated Gimbal. 4. Associations, Adana, Aka, Song, Zol, Yul. Audio preserved. Transcript follows. Jeeve, we're going in. Getting what Adana wanted and getting out. Do you copy? Jeeve, hey, you listening? Gimbal. Zol, Ul, Zol, Ul. Jeeve, hey, what are you doing? Hey, Gimbal. Zol, Yul, Aka. Jeeve, I think that was a scream. Type, live surveillance feed, contingency linked. Parties 2, 1, research type, cryptoarchaeologist Reef, designate Adana. 1, Guardian type, class Titan, designate Gimbal. Associations, Engram, Graphemics, Hive, Music, Paracausal, Quantum Field Theory, Relativity, Ruins, Song. Audio unavailable. Transcript follows. Adana, Engram precepts, not just prototypical, but in some could be cynosural of a recondite gestalt. Procuring a model sample from the hive and comparing it to the runic syntax might be the key to its graphemics, and ultimately ambages to the protological patterns and underlying quantum field theory, relativity, and paracausal phenomena. Silence. A comparative study of hive humanity and graphomy might, as a part of a larger cerebrative process examining engrams through the window of fundamental theories of reality, reveal an ungirding pattern of tonal morphemes that silence. Both causal and paracausal laws of the universe might share a common language. Getting a sample of Hive's music will help me study it. Silence. Gimbal. So you want us to record Hive singing so you can figure out how the universe works? Eureka! You apprehend it. That's cute. That was a really nice summation. Ooh, it's an Eris Morn art piece. You always tell because of the armor. No character has armor like that except for Eris, really. Very iconic. There's no other way. Eris mourns ghost. Type live surveillance feed contingency record. Parties 2, 1. Ghost type designate Brya 1. Guardian type class Hunter designate Eris Morn M. Association Light Morn Eris. Audio preserved. Transcript follows. Eris. No, I'll find a way to hide you. To hide your light. Brya. There's no other way. Don't ask me to do this. Just promise me one thing. Ghost, please. Don't look back. Live combat feed contingency linked. Parties 26 approx. 1 ghost type designated Brya, 1 guardian type class hunter designated Erismorn, approx number hive, variable types, Alakite, Dark Blades, Deathsinger, Thralls, designate chorus. Associations Aga, Omar, Arena 3, Mota, Sai, Tarlo, Vel. Audio unavailable. Transcript follows. Erismorn. What have I done? Brya. No time. Run. Chorus. Zol, Yul. Brya. The song. Don't listen. Brya. Think of something else. Erismorn. I can't. Brya. Think of Sai Mota. Erismorn. Sai. I'm sorry. Chorus 2. Zol, Yul. Brya. Think of Omar Aga. Erismorn. Oh, Omar. Brya. Think about the veil. Or about Vel. Erismorn. Vel. Brya. Think about Arena. Erismorn. Arena. Brya. Sai. Omar. Vel. Erismorn. Sai. Chorus. Zol, Yul. Brya. Arena. Sai. Omar. Erismorn. Omar. Brya. Vel. Arena. Sai. Omar. Vel. Erismorn. Vel. Chorus. Zol, Yul. Brya. Sai. Omar. Vel. Arena. Erismorn. Arena. Brya. Sai. Omar. Erismorn. Vel. Arena. Erismorn. Sai. Omar. Vel. Arena. Erismorn. Sai. Omar. Vel. Arena. So sad. It's her losing her fire team. You guys, this book is kind of traumatic. I would say, like, at least half the stories in here are very sad stories. Why are the ghosts so traumatized? We need some therapy for baby ghosts. Yeah. Page 56. I would say we're closer to third-ish through now. He goes to hear the song of death. Toland's ghost. Type, live combat feed contingency record. Parties 1. 1 ghost type designate Gurin. Associations Deathsinger, Gurin, self, Toland, aka Toland the Shattered, Traveler. Audio preserved, transcript follows. Gurin. This is the final transmission of Gurin, ghost of Toland, who you call the Shattered. He goes to hear the song of death. Gurin. Nothing will deter him. None of you can stop him, not anymore. Toland will hear the Deathsinger's melody. He will redefine death, escape the Traveler's blunt samsara. He will sound the depths of the powers you so myopically fear. My only regret is that I will not live to see his triumph. Type, live surveillance feed contingency linked. Parties 2. 1 ghost type designated Gurin. 1 guardian type class warlock designated Toland. Associations Ariana 3. Guardian, Morn, Eris, Toland, aka Toland the Shattered. Audio transcript unavailable. Gurin. Incoming Guardians. They've broken the perimeter. Shall I engage defenses? Toland. No need. They have inquisitive intentions. If murder was their mission, we'd have lost our light long ago. Gurin. They want to know what you know. Toland. Yes, and I will tell them, but they will never understand. I'll greet them with a smile and welcome them in. Toland. I will learn how we can benefit from their ignorance. Gurin. Yes, but don't smile. Toland. Why not? A smile hides the true purpose of teeth. Gurin. Yes, but not yours. Toland must have had a really creepy smile. Someone you've never met. Lonesome ghost. Type live combat feed contingency record. Parties 1. 1 ghost type designate undesignated. Associations First Light, Light Luna, aka Moon, Earth, Reef. Audio preserved. Undesignated. This will be my last transmission. Not sure I even have the light left to send it. Undesignated. Thought I'd look for a guardian on Luna, a First Light colonist, a downed reef pilot, maybe an exo who never came home from the war. Is it possible to miss someone you've never met? Type candidate scanned, contingency linked. Parties 1. 1 ghost, designate undesignated. First Light. Finally, another First Light technician. All right, let's see about you. Ooh boy, another one. DNA degradation alone makes this impossible, but even if I could bring you back, who would put you back together again? Inexorably psychological trauma, indelible psychosis, violence, paranoia, obsessive behavior, and, yep, some kind of hallucinatory mechanism. Damage to the occipital lobe and limbic, and then those weird formations in the periodical temple. It's like something rewired your brain, but did it through your DNA. What were they doing up here? Suspicious moon experiments, huh? What are you doing over there, babe? What you doing? What are you doing? In a spot you don't normally hang out. When I go, you'll be free. Omar Agha's ghost. Type live combat feed contingency record. Parties 1. 1 ghost type designate Karsus. Associations Agar Omar. Audio preserved. Transcript as follows. Karsus, my time has come. Finally, finally. When I go, you'll be free. It'll all be over. Omar. Do you think we'll see each other again? Type live surveillance feed contingency linked. Parties 2. 1 guardian type class warlock designate Ariana 3. 1 guardian type class hunter designate Omar Aga. Associations Crota, Ariana 3, Great Disaster, Hive, Moon, Earth, Eris Morn, Ning, Wei, Toyland, aka Toland the Shattered, Vanguard. Audio unavailable. Omar, you can't be serious. You are, but why? Dying up here won't bring her back, you know. Sorry, that wasn't. I'm sorry. Sometimes I say, Ariana, you're honest, Omar. It's a quality I very much admire, so allow me to be honest in return. We're going back because we have found a way to destroy Crota. The Vanguard is too cowardly to use it. Cowardly? You know it's true. We hide behind the wall as if it would save us, but what if Crota decided to descend? What if Crota and his armies land in the city? How many more would die? But if Crota were to attack us, couldn't we defeat him? No. The only means of destroying him is up there. Then why won't the Vanguard agree to... Eris and I went to Toland. Eris? Eris Morn? She sent me. Why the hell didn't you just say so? Let's go. Let's go. When she left. Ariana 3's ghost. Type live combat feed contingency record. Parties 3. 1 ghost type designate Jax. 1 guardian type class warlock designate Ariana redacted. 1 Hive wizard type death singer designate Ear-Ute redacted. Associations Death Singer, Death Song, Ariana 3, Hive, Ear-Ute, Praxic Order. Jax, I'll keep my feed live. Maybe the Praxics can make use of this data. Jax, it's a song that's killing her. Gone on for about 2 minutes, 30 seconds now. Jax, I've wiped it from this transmission in case its power extends through recorded media. Jax, if anyone is listening, don't trust Toland. Toland do be sus. Type live surveillance feed contingency linked. Parties 2. 1 guardian type class hunter designate Eris Morn. 1 guardian type class warlock designate Ariana 3. Associations Ariana 3, Great Disaster, Morn, Eris, Saloon, Tower. Eris Morn. I knew I'd find you here. Ariana. Where else should I be? just laying down in a spot she doesn't normally lay in. So I'm just checking on her every now and then to make sure she's still alert. She hasn't had her meds in almost 12 hours, which is good because now she's going down to 24 hours for the 5 milligrams instead of 10 milligrams every 24 hours. But still, I don't know. Just any behavior that's unusual. Keep an extra close watch on her. All right. I knew I'd find you here, Eris Morn. Or Ariana. Where else should I be? Eris, you made it. Eris, I did. I wish more could say the same. Ariana, you want something to drink? You sure? On the house tonight? Eris Morn, I'm sure. Ariana, you know this is where we. I know. When she laughed, the dishes would rattle. You remember that? I remember. Now it's damn quiet. Everybody's too damn quiet. Laugh. Live, damn it. Somebody just laugh. Ariana, I miss her so much. Eris, I know. More sad ones, guys. These are so sad. I don't know if I can do a whole night of sad ones tonight in one go. We might have to make this more than one stream. I can't bring him back. Vel Tarlo's ghost. Contingency record. Parties 1. Ghost type. Designate. Razor. Associations. Hive, Light, Tarlo, Vel. Audio contingency archived. Transcript follows. Razor. I can't bring him back. There were too many, everywhere, devouring his light. I need to find the others. I need to tell them. Type, live combat feed, contingency linked. Parties 2. 1 Guardian type class Hunter designate Omar. 1 Guardian type class Titan designate Vel Tarlo. Associations, Aga, Omar, Crota, Ariana 3, Great Disaster, Hive, Light, Moon, Earth, Morn, Eris, Moda, Sai, Tarlo, Vel, Toland. Throne World. Audio unavailable. Transcript follows. Omar, hang on. Does it make sense to you that Crota will be weaker in some reality he created? Vel, it doesn't have to make sense. He just has to be stopped. Omar, I know, but wouldn't you make a netherworld or whatever where you were invulnerable? Vel, according to Toland. Omar, right, Toland. Why are we trusting anything that lunatic says? Vel, I don't trust him. His highest loyalty is to knowledge. I trust you. I trust Eris and the others. I trust the lightness. Omar, a lot of guardians brought their light here. Are we any different? Vel, they didn't know what Toland knows. Omar, Toland again. Vel, Toland again. I don't trust my weapons. I use them. Silence. Omar, fair enough. And the art is Le Ghost, and some cool spectral looking diagrams around them. Chapter 4. Surface tension. Never trust your ghost. He's a tool, a connection to the light, not a friend, not in a way that counts. You think he's saving your hide, bringing you back? He's saving his own. I don't care what your guardian dogma says. I don't care what your little buddy has told you. We don't know what ghosts are. They sound friendly, right? But I met some ghosts in the Dark Age would kill you for a blue engram, then spit on your grave. Also, they could grow their light a little more, make a stronger connection to the traveler. Whatever the hell that means. You're an idiot if you think those ghosts aren't still around. Take mine, for example. Really creeps me out. Cut the tape, ghost, and don't give me that look. You know where we stand. The Drifter. What? Spicy. Another beautiful art piece. You know what I like about these? Is it's very clearly not AI. Thank you, Bungie, for not doing AI art in your Grimoire books, hiring real artists. Just checking some notifications off that have been flagging in the corner of my eye. Don't want to look at anymore. Okay. Close that too. All right. Sentesis. Dusk falls and the braziers are lit. The wind, howling like a starving dog, bites at exposed throats. Sophia raises her lantern and watches the trickle of survivors pass through the Iron Lord gates. Some are wounded, some lie on makeshift stretchers. She gestures to a tent, its interior glowing with warm firelight. They'll freeze out here, she says. Take them inside quickly. Her hospital, such as it is humbled by the stone structures which surround it, but she had overseen its construction when she first arrived, stocked it, served it. It was all she could do. The gates close behind the Iron Lords, unhurt, alive. Zavala is among them. She knows him, the one stubborn enough to argue, but not stubborn enough to ignore her. He speaks to his companions. Coordinated attacks by the House of Devils. If we take this opportunity to retaliate. Retaliate? Zavala turns to Safia. She stares him down. We have wounded here. We don't need violence. We need supplies. The others break off. Leave him to it. The same fight with the same woman. Excuse me? She doesn't flinch. I was clear, she says. A drone? Ghost? Bob's in the air just behind Zavala's shoulder. Tarj? His name is Tarj. It's not a part of this, Tarj says. Sophia stands on her toes and catches his eye before he ducks away. Moving against the fallen will ensure your safety, Zavala says. Like I've told you before. You want to protect us? Sophia points toward the meager hospital. This is how. By ensuring we have what we need to live. She isn't wrong, Targ says. Are you a part of this conversation or not? Zavala asks, glancing sharply at his ghost. He turns back to Safia. You don't understand, she says, walking away. Where are you going? He asks, a silly question. She ducks under the tent flap. Zavala follows, strung along by their argument. He always wants the last word. Sophia washes her hands in a basin, then glances at him. She will make him useful. Wash your hands, she tells him, and he hesitates, but does so. Take this, she says, and she hands him a fistful of clean rags. She moves to one of the cots, her head down as she inspects a fresh wound, still bleeding into the dirty bandage. She removes it carefully. Come here, she says, and guides him to press the clean rags into the wound, staunching the blood flow. He opens his mouth to speak again, but she raises her hand. I understand the situation, she says. Do you? Do you know how hard it is to survive in this world? Yes, he says. He eases the pressure, and she points, snaps her fingers, and he presses down again. Without your ghost? He says nothing. That one will need sutures, Sophia thinks to herself. She calculates their dwindling stores as she fetches antiseptic and gloves. It's not just fallen. It's not just warlords. It's sickness, starvation, cold. She motions for Zavala to stand, and he does. The wounded man, regrettably awake, shivers, stiffens, bites down on a scream as she cleans his wound and gently as she can. We don't walk away from these things the way you do. There is a note of pity in her words. She thinks that he will argue with her, push back, raise his voice, but he says nothing. He is pensive, quiet. She looks up and sees the way his eyes shift, how his jaw stiffens. He wants to speak. She turns away from him, pulling off her gloves at the wrist. Another patient, a woman with a dressed wound across her temple. She had shifted in her sleep, her blanket fallen to one side. Carefully, Safia, I can never say it right. Safia picks up the blanket's edge and pulls it up so it covers her again. She passes a hand over the woman's brow, feeling for fever, and finds none. Safia smiles. When she looks up, she sees Zavala watching her. The wounded look to me. She does not lower her eyes, does not bow her head. Not you. Rexus. Zavala lays Hakim down on his bed, supporting him so that his head comes to rest softly on the pillow. Safia pulls his blanket up, trembling, stopping short of drawing it over his face. When she reaches for her husband, hand beside her, she realizes it is stained up to her elbows with her son's dark, blackened blood, the blood of a deep interior wound. Zavala reaches for the edge of his son's blanket, adjusting it to cover Hakim's shoulder carefully, as if he is afraid to wake him. What will you do now? Amani has a way of cutting to the heart of things. Hakim had been buried for a month. Flowers on his headstone. The sisters sit overlooking the grave. The night air is thick with summer warmth. All is silvered in the moonlight. The cicadas sing, and the world does not stop and witness her grief. Safia shakes her head, silent. Her sister puts an arm around her shoulders. You will have to decide. The silence grows heavy. She feels Amani draw her into an embrace. He was a good boy, her sister says, and Safia hears the quaver in her voice, stubborn and brave like his father. They part, and Amani clasps Safia's hands in hers. Her sister gives her a sad smile. Safia does not return. Her grief is solitary, inward. She cries when she is alone. Zavala is at Hakim's grave most nights, Safia says at last, but not tonight. Sleep, her sister says. Sleep and think about your future, here or elsewhere. You want me to leave? Safia asks. Amani shakes her head, squeezes her sister's hand. No, never, but I want you to find joy again, and I don't believe you'll find it here. Bring him back. Safia hears Zavala's voice when she returns home. She follows the sound to their bedroom. Bring him back, he demands again, and there's a tremor in Zavala's voice. Safia peers through the slip of space offered by the unlatched door. Her husband faces away from her, speaking to his ghost. I can't, Tarj says. Tarj stares up at Zavala, and she can see the ghost shivering. Take my light and bring him back, he struggles at every word. You know I can't. Would you? Zavala asks, something clawing into his voice. Would you bring him back if you could? If Tarj speaks, Safia doesn't hear it, but she hears the scrape of Zavala's gun on the nightstand. Find a way. Bring him back, Zavala pleads. Safia doesn't hesitate when she sees Zavala raise the weapon. She swings open the door. Her husband flinches, turns, sees her standing at the threshold. Careful, she walks to him, puts a hand on his arm, lowers his gun. Zavala falls to his knees, and the gun clattering to the floor. Safia reaches for Targ, and he floats to her. She holds him in her hands. There is a thrum, a warmth in her palm. The ghost's singular eye, pale blue, looks up at her. She remembers all the times he hovered just out of Hakim's reach, teasing him, playing with him. In that moment, she knows that Targay loved him too. We cannot change what happened, she whispers to her husband. This will not change who we are. She thinks he will turn to her and ask, who am I? But he doesn't. Targay leaves her embrace to hover beside Zavala. I can't stay here, he says. She says. He says nothing. He knows himself, and he knows who she is too. She is certain. Safia searches his face. She sees Hakim when she looks at him. She sees her own pain reflected in his eyes, and she sees his pain as well, just as endless as the years he will suffer beyond her own. Safia looks away. I can't understand eternity, she says sadly. I don't know if you can either, but you will live it. I will not. Zavala takes a hard breath, and the sob drags itself from his body. She looks at him again. Don't forget us, Zavala. Her voice breaks. For all your years, please never. So sad, you guys. This was supposed to be a nice book to read tonight. This is supposed to be a nice book, and it's breaking my heart. I don't know if I have the emotional fortitude tonight to finish reading this. You guys, I don't know if I can do this tonight. This is too dark. I'm not struggle bussing. There's 163 pages total. 80 pages makes it halfway, and we're at page 70. But there's more for Zavala. I'm gonna finish the halfway point, and then I might call it. I don't know. Yeah, okay. We're gonna we'll do at least halfway so I know where we're at. Eternal Blazon. But this eternal blazon must not be to ears of flesh and blood. It was the warm night of the last city. A gentle breeze rolled through the streets, ruffling treetops and bearing choirs of cicadas. On a night like this, even the most chronic of insomniacs could achieve a sound, dreamless sleep. All they'd need to do was lay their head down and breathe deep. Except for Zavala. He preferred to spend a night like this walking through the gardens. Nothing better than a midnight stroll, right, Tarj? He remarked quietly to the ghost floating over his shoulder. Tarj bobbed silently in the breeze. In his opinion, a full 8 hours of sleep would have been vastly better, especially for the beleaguered commander. But while some ghosts felt giving advice was part of their calling, he did not. So he said nothing. His disapproval was felt regardless. I know I should rest. Zavala has closed his eyes and inhaled. The night air was fragrant with fresh blooms and petrichor. But I'd argue this counts. Tarj, Targe, Tarj remembered when this acre was first dug out for planting, back when the city was a little more than a sprawl of encampments. They had just returned from a grueling patrol, but as soon as Zavala saw the others digging, he dropped his weapons and picked up a shovel. Saladin gave him a long lecture about the importance of rest and recovery, but he just stubbornly kept digging. I'd like to sow some life for once, he'd said. Tarj could still picture the look on the Iron Lord's face in that moment, flickering between pride and exasperation. It was in that moment that he too picked up a shovel. We've come so far, Zavala murmured in the present, sacrificed so much. Again, Tarj said nothing. They had indeed, and as they had passed under a tree, the cicadas tucked in its branches went still. For a few seconds, the only noise was the crunch of boots on the gravel path. Once Zavala and Tarj were a few yards away, the cicadas resumed their melodic thrumming. It amazes me sometimes that I've survived this long. Zavala looked up, his pupils reflecting the bone-white orb of the traveler above. All thanks to you. His words came out soft, and it was hard to tell if there were an accusation or gratitude. Targ lifted up towards the traveler too. What could he say? It was his duty to resurrect his guardian. More than that, it was his purpose. No one had chosen. No, not one he had chosen. But then again, neither had Zavala. A silence fell, deeper than before. Ghost and guardian staring up at the opaque moon, their thoughts synchronized around the same question. Are you watching over us, or are we on our own? Hi, Ray. I was just talking about on the last page about how much more sad this book was than I expected it to be. And it might be too depressing for me to get through the whole thing tonight. We are almost halfway, though. But it's very sad. 2. Fractures. Zavala stared at the terminal window until the words blurred together. He lowered his head and rubbed his eyes, trying to collect all of his thoughts. There were reports from hunters in the field, increased Vex activity across the system, coordinated attacks on the Vanguard operations, anomalous disturbances within the city, all on top of the Elixni and human confrontations within the city's walls. A buzzing hum bloomed to life over Zavala's shoulder, followed by a gentle weight of a ghost that came to settle there. Is this the best use of your time? Tarj wondered aloud, which elicited a look from the corner of Zavala's eyes. Tarj rarely spoke, but when he did, there was always purpose. I don't recall asking for your opinion, Zavala said as he tried to refocus. I don't recall giving one. Zavala turned this time to give Tarj another look. You two can't keep doing the work of 3 people, Tarj insisted. Talk to Anna again. Zavala leaned back in his chair. Tarj, there is no way I'm going to convince. An alert chimed at the command console to his right. Incoming call from Empress Keitel, Tarj said wearily. Let it go to depot. Zavala stubbornly rose from his chair. No, he said, receiving the call. Keitel's imperial seal appeared on the screen with a notice. Audio only. Empress Keitel, to what do I owe this pleasure? Zavala asked, tiredly scratching the hand over his stubble. Tarjay watched for a moment before he dematerialized. Commander, Keitel greeted, her voice swelling to fill the room as if she were standing there. The fleet's long-range sensors detect a growing anomaly located in the vicinity of the last city. Why the sudden concern? Keitel snorted. I bear no concern, Commander, but if the Vanguard were suddenly annihilated, it would behoove me to at least be aware. Of course, Zavala said softly. Well, we're still here. For now. The leading edge of her tone hooked him. Why are you really calling? There is no response from the other side for a few moments. When Keitel spoke next, her tone was as measured as before, but lacked any performative airs. Lakshmi 2's latest broadcast to the city reached our fleet, she said. You are truly a proud hawk standing in a nest of vipers, aren't you? Lakshmi is a politician. Words are the most dangerous of weapons, Commander, Keitel reminded him. It begins as whispering convictions, then full-voiced dissent, and the next thing you know, you will wake with a knife driven into your chest. Spoken from experience, Zavala jabbed back. Spoken from experience, Keitel dabbled down, unashamed. Lakshmi is undermining the Vanguard's authority by diminishing your role in the eyes of the people. Spoken loudly enough and often enough, her words may begin to make sense even to those who are not of the same mind. Zavala sighed, and Keitel felt its weight all the way across the system. I trust you to honor the terms of our armistice. I do not trust whomever your successor might be, Keitel warned. Zavala weighed anger and intrigue against one another, finding the scales as useless tool in arbitrating his response to the situation. He stepped back to the console and did as Cade might say, just wing it. This is not my first threat to my authority I've weathered, Zavala said, his voice rising, so don't delude yourself into thinking otherwise. And don't you dare come at me for whatever remorse you might be feeling about deposing your father. Zavala heard the low rumble of an appreciative vocalization over the speakers. I do not feel remorse because Callus was my father, Keitel explained, her tone softening. I feel remorse because of what Gaul did to my people. We opened the door for the hive, handed Zebu Arath a knife, and were surprised when we felt the kiss of steel in our spine. I hate to see a warrior I admire and respect do the same with a less worthy adversary, but perhaps you are not in need of such unsolicited counsel. Zavala looked up, out to the lightless city beyond, and closed his eyes. And what counsel is that? What Keitel said next was not in the voice of an empress, but a friend. Umun Arath, my most trusted counselor, the darkness has many hands. Will you recognize its caress before it finds your throat? Interesting. Yeah, sometimes you just need to take a break and cry, right? Sometimes you just gotta cry a little bit. Okay, so she's moved. But where did she move to? Back to the couch. I have my camera on to be watching my kitty. Okay. Alright, that's kind of like a normal sleepy place for her to be sleeping. So I will leave that. She's fine for now. She's normally sleeping around now anyways, too. Okay. Okay. Lorelei Splendor Helm. I don't know what it means that I am so sad, a legend of bygone days, that I cannot keep out of my mind. Die Lorelei Heinrich Hein. The great warrior Ikora Ray, Ophiuchus scoffed, librarian of glory. Ikora brushed the dust from a battered rifle and began carefully noting its features. It's an honor to catalog these artifacts for him. Besides, you should be happy. You're always encouraging me to adventure less and study more. No, I am encouraging you to be your best self, the ghost corrected, not change who you are because you've succumbed to hero worship. Osiris is a legend. He is just a man, Ophiuchus ran a scan over the gun. A man who's honed his skills, yes, but you could be his equal and more. Me? Surpass the warlock vanguard? It was Ikora's turn to scoff. You do love your fantasies, Ophiuchus. You have the instincts. If you just learn to slow down and hang on, the ghost abruptly knocked over a flaking plastic crate and nudged a helm forward from the jumbled mess. Here, take a look at this helmet. What does it tell you about the wearer? The crate says it was recovered from the tomb of Carnuda, a warlord in EDZ, Lightbearer. Don't read, deduce. She laughed, feeling silly. Gallic-inspired design, she paused, gazing into the imperfect etching as something ate at her. I'm sorry, no. See this third eye, the cheek flanges? He clearly made a hive-inspired helm to strike fear into his enemies. No, this was centuries before we encountered the hive. She turned the helm over and gave it a careful sniff. Dust, sweat, linseed, frankincense. No smell of decay. Oiled, a warrior is buried in his helm, but this was buried next to him, not on him. She hefted the weight of it in her hands. It's light, and her eyes darted carefully over the helm surface. No, the line weight in these etchings is inconsistent, handmade. The scans show traces of his DNA sealed in the seams. He made this himself, but it wasn't his. The fletching is infused with light, high visibility, easily to spot on the battlefield. He made this for someone who couldn't bear to wear it after Canutar's death. She gently righted the helm and staring into its visor. He made this for a lover. Ophidius word for a moment. So you don't think it looks like a hive? Maybe a little. I like that banter. Oh, there's another picture. Ikora and her ghost doing some good loot work. That looks like stairs and vaulted glass, though. Universal wave function. I believe your presence at the genesis of the infinite force would lead to a comprehensive understanding of the Vex. When will I learn that things are never so simple? Ikora. The fluid itself is not the Vex. It is their consciousness. If their consciousness could be contained in such a state, it would have manifested in other states by now. Ikora looked up from the terminal. Perhaps Lakshmi's device is the key. Was I wrong to dismiss this? She chuckles. She does that a lot more lately. Probably. I was wrong about a lot of things. She paces, hands behind her back. If understanding their ability to manipulate simulations and in doing so appear to travel to different times is our goal, then she stops and turns to look at me. What do you think, Ophidius? She hasn't spoken to me in 22,303 days. I haven't spoken to her in almost as long. I'm speechless. You're not just my ghost. We were friends once. I want to know what you think. I try to maintain my composure. I don't think it works. I'm glad you asked. Aw, what a way to break the silence. Osmiomancy loves. Osmium's existence requires near divine intervention, a supernova, to forge. As we count the dead and make plans for recovery, I wish to record some of my recent scientific inquiries and theories before they are muddled by or altogether forgotten in the tangle of rebuilding what was lost. Possibility. It exists within each life, an expanse and myriad of complexity explored openly through the philosophical constructs of choice and free will. Even when life ends, possibility carries forward in lives touched and the projects created when the actions of another end a life. Humans are often refer to this act as killing or taking a life, but where killing brings about a singular conclusion, Oryx's taking was quite the opposite. He imposed a singular origin and all decisions that followed. He shaped the causality, the very history of another being, by force of will, recasting it into a fanatical loyalty. In short, possibility never existed. Like Ikora, my role is anticipating threats. While these Taken and their king may have been the most dangerous opponents we have ever faced, they likely will be the least of what is yet to come. And Taking has terrible potential if wielding by a mind more nuanced than Oryx's. Taking involves reforming matter in a self-contained reality where the creator defines past, present, and future. Imagine how a more insightful being could expand upon these definitions to different ends. Overcoming a target's will must consume a large portion of energy. What if you use that energy for larger shifts in reality? Could you teleport an army into a hive mothership, move a fleet outside of time and space, perhaps even alter the moon's orbit, devastating the planet below? The military applications could be far graver than simply creating an army. Clearly, this is a subject in dire need of study, as the Taken themselves are frustratingly ephemeral. I have instead retrieved a variety of osmium ore samples from Oryx's flagship. They resonate in harmony with the Taken and thus may provide guidance in understanding the profane science behind them. Personal logs, Ophidius. Oryx's flagship had resonance and harmonic resonance in it. Is that what that was? Criticality of quickness. A lot can happen in 72 hours. 3 days can change the course of 100 lives. Darkness signatures decay in just under 2 days. Ether residue degrades in as little as 4 hours. Hive ritual oils dissipate in less than 20 minutes. As agents of the hidden, you must understand the evidence is fleeting and time is your enemy. That means you must act with swiftness, but not in haste. Never in haste. Put your hands down. I recognize that look. After a few years after I bonded with Ikora Ray, long before the last city, we happened upon a settlement near the ruins of Sturbian in the EDZ. We discovered the locals slaughtered with no surviving witnesses, but Ikora was quite familiar with the fallen weapons, even by then, and recognized the impact marks immediately. She wasted no time in mounting an assault on the fallen camp in the nearby hills. Only when she got there, she found no one but the sick and the young and completely unarmed. Had Ikora investigated the ruins of the settlement more thoroughly, she would have discovered the human boot prints. You see, it turns out the warlord Benyo Lukacs had raided the fallen camp days earlier. He put their warriors to the sword and stole their weapons for his own use. Ikora spent 14 hours tracking the fallen encampment and another 11 rushing back to find the clues she had missed. Her haste gave Lucas a 25-hour lead, time enough for him to wipe out 2 refugee caravans. 184 lives lost, all because she did not spare another 5 minutes investigation. Begin your new lives understanding the vital difference between quickness and recklessness, unless you think yourself strong enough to carry the weight of 184 mistakes. Deep. Audio recording, advanced forensics introductory lecture, Officious. I love that Ikora's ghost is so intelligent that he has lectures, like he's a professor or something, you know? That's, fitting. Secant filaments. The nature of secant is to intercept a curve, a role all human relationships likewise fill. In this treatise, I plan to revisit earlier mathematical theorems and revise them considering our new observations on the light, the darkness, and the life forms imbued with those respective powers. But before I do so, I must preface it with one personal note. Despite high-minded assumptions, mathematics is not an intrinsic language of the universe. It is how we describe the portions of the universe that we can observe, while numbers can track the abstract and find pattern in chaos. They cannot account for fundamental aspects of reality, such as a compassion or justice. The existence of lucent hive and hive ghosts in particular may expand our understanding of causality, but they themselves are not new. The only thing that is new is our awareness and observation of them. These ghosts have already been living alongside us. They traveled with us, endured with us. What we see is the mushroom, the fruit of the fungus. The fungus itself is a vast mycorrhizal network of filaments growing and working unseen below the soil, often barely connected to the fruiting bodies we observe. Similarly, we observe ghosts, hive ghosts included, without understanding the nature of the unseen filaments that may guide us. In our eagerness to understand the universe, we must not assume our observations are complete or objective. Otherwise, we are blind ourselves to the possibilities, like the possibility that an unnoticed faction among us may be one temptation away from betrayal, or that what drives our creator is no more than the same base desire for survival that drives all other living things. On Second's introduction, Officious. I like that one, especially at the end there where he's talking about that what drives our creator is no more than the same base desire for survival that drives all living things. Like, I have said from the get-go that I don't think the Traveler is any sort of kind of god. I think it is just another cosmic level being. And as far as it's aware, we're just a symbiotic, microscopic speck that happens to be acting as a natural immune system for it to help protect it from viruses like the Witness. Like, that is like everything. All right. Here's one piece of gloriously beautiful Dredgen art. Here's another one of what I assume is probably Drifter getting revived, maybe. There's a scorpion down right here too, which is really cool. I don't know if I got the energy to do the whole book, and we're only at halfway right now. So we might call it and then finish the second half of the book. Maybe Friday, maybe later this week. We'll see how baby girl's doing. But I think this is a good pause point. We'll just say that we'll finish second half on the next stream. And remember, we're at the halfway point, 80 pages in. I don't have the energy or fortitude to choose to rate to somebody, so we're just gonna go ahead and end stream. Nice and casual, nice and slow, nice and calm like. Very tired. I'm still very tired. I feel like I need naps like constantly right now. Okay. Well, thanks for hanging out. This has been wonderful. We're gonna read the second half of the book. Tomorrow's my D&D night, so maybe Friday, maybe even Friday day, because I'm technically off during the day. Maybe we'll finish the read during the day, but we will see. Thanks for hanging out, and we will do part 2 on the next one. Good night, friends.